Big Dookie Chain. I am Van Styles. To the left of me is Tash. To the left of Tash's left is Hush behind the cameras. And we got Konflik.
Peace.
And we got Nastee.
Peace.
In the studio today. Finally, we made it happen.
Yes, finally.
A few reschedules, to get everybody on the same page. But you guys are coming from Vermont.
Yes.
So
Yep.
not like next door, but not like right next door. Not like knock on your door and ask for sugar next door.
That's right.
Yeah.
Vermont is
Little
nowhere
ride.
near next door to where we are.
Oh, really?
Nowhere near it. Like,
No.
You got to go all the way through New Hampshire and Vermont.
Yeah, so like when
Well, not really. When you get to Western Mass, it's
but you
right
have to
there.
go to Western Mass though. So it's like
I thought we were touching Vermont. No.
we are, but not where we are. Like
Right.
the
Way
other
west.
like the other part of
West.
Massachusetts.
Irving.
Yeah, you don't even like we don't know if that is.
Fitchburg.
Irving? I
So
know
when-
there's an Irving.
when you want to go
California.
away like for a quick little like road trip out of like Boston, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you can't go to Vermont because like you can only get to that little corner by Franconia Notch in like 2.5 hours. Like,
right.
and that's only that little spot.
Yeah.
I was just in Vermont because, and I didn't even know I was going to a ski hill, but it was at Sugar Bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Onyx was there.
Yeah,
you were there.
That's
you guys
right.
were there.
We
yeah.
rocked at it. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys were there, and I was like, when I got there, I was like, first of all, getting there, it was through a mountain, up through a mountain.
No, he was.
no
You were
sign of
telling us
life.
like, I came up a dirt road. Like my
Right.
car can't even handle this. Like,
and you said there was another way back.
yeah.
They
Did you
were-
end up going back
No,
the right way?
Yeah, no, we did not. It was. I forgot to talk to you. Once again, I got secondhand high.
Wow.
With all that fucking
Wow.
weed smoke in the room, and I forgot to ask
You like
for
went
directions.
over the mountain or something.
Yeah, you went.
Yeah, and through the woods.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it was bad.
You went.
But Vermont represented. That was a good show.
Yeah, no, it was super cool.
Yeah, that
I
was
like,
fun.
I'm at a ski resort. Like,
Yeah,
this is
exactly,
wild.
exactly.
Like people are dressed up like they're going because they were just finishing a day of
Yeah,
skiing and snowboarding.
But it was a good show, man. Everyone.
Are you
everyone
guys
rocked out.
from Vermont?
No, it's very misrepresentation
Okay,
of
so
where we're
yeah.
coming
Nah.
from.
All right,
So,
so where are you guys from?
we're both born in Boston.
From Roxbury.
He's a Roxbury. I was born in Alston,
Okay.
and
Rock
how
City.
old are you guys?
I'm 53.
Okay.
52.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're talking back in the days, Alston and Roxbury.
Did you used to go to the Model
The
Cafe, the Hard Rock Cafe?
No.
You don't even know it? Damn.
Nah.
Right across from Twin Donuts?
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, okay.
But like, that's like childhood, baby, you know what I'm saying? Alston, for me anyway. And then my parents are musicians, so moved to LA, moved to New Orleans.
Yeah,
moved
your
to,
father's a blues
like saying-
and jazz bassist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, and he's played with some pretty heavy cats. He's like
Like who? Like who is he?
Cecil Taylor, who
Okay.
played with all of them. Miles, John Coltrane, he played with all of them.
Okay.
And it's improvised music, you know what I mean? Like it's that next level jazz. It's not even, they don't even call it jazz really, the people that play it, It's like our way to describe it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like Sun Ra. You ever heard of Sun Ra?
I have.
Yeah, like that kind of music,
Okay.
It's
but
interesting
improvised.
to like this hip hop, the generation of hip hop. I mean, you guys are like 45, so one generation ahead of me. It's just interesting.
Not a
that,
race.
Like you do what your dad does. You know what I'm saying? Like if your dad goes to construction, you build houses. Your dad fucking delivers milk. You become a milkman. Whatever the fuck it may be. So it's interesting that like this kids and musicians in the 80s. They started like, you're not the first person in here that has like a dad that traveled and
Right.
like, toured and all. Like there's actually been quite a few.
Yeah.
It's been like, it's almost like a going standard of like any older person that's come through that produces records.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, my dad was in this band and he sang, or my mother was a singer or a dancer. And
Yeah.
so it's just interesting to like our generation, your generation it's the first generation of like changing that musical style.
Right.
Like you're not making the blues, you're not making jazz, you're not making like
My pops wasn't even really with all that. When he would hear loops and stuff, he'd be like,
Well, that's
nah.
Like, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
that's not even music.
Yeah.
Because it's so like the way
Yeah.
that almost for a while it'd be like the new hip hop shit is like some of this ain't even like fucking music, whatever the fuck it is. They were doing that to you guys as like the first, but you guys are the first generation of that.
Yeah.
Which is just interesting because like,
but that would get him open because then when he started piecing together, like, wait, so that's Cool in the Gang on top of James Brown on top of this jazz record,
On
That
top
started-
of these rock and roll drums.
right? On top of some break beat that you got off a rock record. My pop started putting together because he would see me making the beats,
and he understood.
he started seeing that, like, wow, you are creating something. Like, yeah, you're creating some of other people's grooves, but that's an art in itself.
When do you like first time of it hearing hip hop, experiencing hip hop?
My first time hearing it was probably, I had heard Rapper's Delight, but I didn't know what it was. Yeah. And I said to my man, this dude, he had a tape of his Irish stepfather drunkenly rapping over Rapper's Delight.
I knew rap started with the Irish white people.
No.
I knew it.
No. So this is important too, because like how fucking rare and how hard it was to get hip hop back in the fucking day. Like you would take that and you would she probably jam the fuck over that record.
Bro, we were listening to it and I kept being like, no, what is this though? And he kept being like, man, it was my drunk stepdad. I'm like, no, not him. What is that behind him? And we're young enough and old enough to know, like, it's not disco. Like, we're saying to each other, it's not disco. It's not rock. Like, then, I don't know, however long in kid years or kid months or kid time, he came back to me and was like, yo, I know what it's called. And I was like, what is it? He was like, it's called rap. And
That's
I'm
crazy.
Like, and I go, rap?
Wait, were they using the word rap before hip hop or hip hop before rap?
It's kind of intertwined once there's an industry of rap.
Okay.
Once it becomes an industry, Sugar Hill Gang, there's rap.
Depends on where you heard it too. Like if you heard it.
Yeah. So he goes, it's called rap. And I'm like, rap? And he goes, and there's this dance that you do to it, go like this. He starts electric boogaloo or whatever, the little footwork. My man Sean Driscoll, remember Sean Driscoll?
Yeah.
So I go, there's a dance? He's like, and it's called hip hop, like the rapping and the.
He must have an older brother or something.
So check it out. His pops, this was in Nonantum, over by Newton in Watertown, right in between Watertown and Newton, Nonantum. His pops was actually a black dude from Mattapan that drove cab. So he was in on that scene early, because that was the thing. When Rapper's Delight comes out and the message, like I'm hearing the message in New York. I don't know what I'm hearing though.
The message still stands up.
Amazing.
Shelly Mel's verses and that shit
amazing.
Still stand, like that's better than like shit that's coming out. Like that's fucking amazing.
That and Beat Street Breakdown are some of the top ever made like raps. Like crazy. So then this is funny, right? So then I'm hearing that from him. And then I don't know, in kid time, I don't know what time frame this is, but my mom goes, yo, she's a poet and an artist and all that. She goes, we're going to watch this documentary. You know, I'm like 11 or something. I'm like, what documentary? She's like, it's on PBS. I'm like, oh, God. So she's like, no, you're going to watch it and you're going to like it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So what's it called? She's like, I think you're really going to like it, and it's called Style Wars. And I'm like, is it trying to be Star Wars? Like, come on. Like, nah, no. My mom.
You didn't like Star Wars?
No, I love Star Wars. I'm thinking somebody's trying to copy it. And that's going to be like the wackest thing ever. So it comes on. Star Wars comes on. I'm sure we've all seen it. First scene, the trains are coming out the yard. It's got the little orchestra music playing. It's dark. You don't know what the fuck you're looking at. As soon as it starts going by the light and you're seeing the graffitis, right? You're like, what the fuck is this shit? I mean, I'm a kid, so I really am like, what the fuck is this shit? When it drops, like that's maybe, I don't know, a minute and a half of the trains pulling out, drops. Somebody let me know. What if you feel it in the place and you're running in the place and you went out? I'm like, what the? You know what I mean? Like,
that was it.
And they showing the graffiti and they start talking. They call themselves writers because what? So I'm watching it like this the whole time.
So your mother's responsible for all this.
Believe it. We could call her right now. She'd say, oh, definitely. Because she was like, no, we're going to watch it and you're going to like it.
She like she already seen where you were going and was pointing you in the direction.
Right? So check this out. It goes on. Like, I'm watching it just like this. It goes off. And I'm like, whoa. It's over? She's like, yeah. I knew you were going to like it. I look at her and I go, 11-year-old me, is that what I'm supposed to be doing? She says, if it talked to you like that, yes. Got right into it after that. Like, trying to find what, I couldn't dance that good, so I was like, oh, man, couldn't draw. I was like, oh, man, couldn't rap. So I was like, man, what am I going to do? And then what happened? I saw Jam Master Jay in like 85 on, they did a live Run DMC at the Ritz on the MTV. Mm-hmm. And I had a VHS tape. Threw it in. Let's see, 85, I'm 13. So he's up there with the famous run, scratch routine, Jam Master Jay. And I'm like this, oh, I can do that. I was already in the records.
Speaking of Jam Master Jay.
And that was it. That was.
But you didn't. But you hadn't seen like but you hadn't seen like because.
I just heard records. You're right.
Because
you're right.
Now
Yeah.
there's the internet and there's, like, now people aren't realizing that.
Until that,
you don't even know that this is a
exactly.
thing. You're like until you actually. Oh, that's what they're doing.
How are they doing the scratch? Oh,
and you
that's
see it,
how.
which is interesting because now, like, as soon as you want to see something, you're like, okay, what is that? You look it up, but you've had to wait months before because hip hop is inaccessible and no one's recording.
Like we
it.
were hearing the records. We don't even know what they. We don't even know what they look like. Really,
that's what I'm saying. Like you don't.
You know
even,
what I'm saying?
It reminds me of like when Big Gip was talking about the Source Awards. He's like, it was the first time he had ever seen like the Wu-Tang Clan. First time he ever seen Bone. First time he had seen Death because you always see each other on TV.
Right.
Like you don't see each other in like, oh shit, that's the Wu-Tang Clan. Like that kind of shit. Like you don't even know what it. Like oh shit, that's what a DJ is. Like you just have like an idea in your head, you're trying to figure it out, and then all of a sudden, bang! Like.
Yep.
It's the first time. It's like literally like the first time because at that point in time, there's not many examples of it
at all,
like ever, anywhere
at all. So I taped that, and when
it's just interesting.
When my parents came home, Pops was playing the gig. I remember it because it was like a moment in my life.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's hip hop.
Yeah, and they came in from the gig, and I said, I figured out what I'm going to do.
How'd you get your first turntable?
And they were like, what? And I threw Jam Master Jay on, and my father was like, what the fuck is this shit?
well, hold up before we jump the gun here. Jam Master Jay is responsible for making sure that Run and DMC had their Dookie chains.
That's right.
Oh, come on. We got to get the Dookie chains
out. She got the Dookie chain.
The Dookie chains out. You know what I'm saying? There we go.
I didn't know if I was going to have a Dookie chain.
And that's, 100%.
Yeah,
those are real
through and through.
Those are 1,000.
The color's not changing at all.
I remember these, bro. This was everything to get one of these back in the day.
So
you had to do a lot.
What's your origin story? Get the headphones back on you.
I mean, it's based,
So you're going. He's all Roxbury.
Roxbury, yeah.
Okay. So first time you're hearing and experiencing hip hop because you guys don't know each other yet.
Let's see.
Nah.
Right out, we're coming up to meeting.
Yeah.
Like where I was just at in my part.
All right.
About to meet.
Okay.
And I mean, like most, it was Rapper's Delight because that was on the radio.
Kind of the only thing
like
was out.
Kiss 108. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, it went two places. I always forget about this. You remember Stephen Brown?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to get bused to school out in Newton.
Okay.
Right? So this kid named Stephen Brown made a song called These Are the Grapes, where he rhymed about fruit and shit. He was nice. Stephen Brown was nice, right? He used to live up from my grandmother in Mattapan.
How do you record it?
He didn't. He just
when you see him
on the bus every day. So every day on the bus, I get on like we go to school. I'd be like, yo, do that still, dude. These are the grapes.
How old are you guys?
Shit, I don't know.
Junior
I
high
was
school?
a kid. Nah, hell no. I was like single digits.
Oh shit! Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right,
single digits because These Are the Breaks came out when 80. Yeah,
which is crazy because like it's not even been around long enough yet for like adults to emulate it. But meanwhile, like you guys are already like, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
These are the grapes.
I'm single digits, and he did These Are the Grapes, and so I was like, yo, but what song is that? And then he told me, he was like, it's a song. So I couldn't find it, but I just listened for it. And every now and then they would play it. Every now and then. And then I heard the message. I was living at 212 Boylston Street in Jamaica Plain. Right? Like the train used to run up top. So the train was right out our kitchen window kind of thing. Like a half a block down.
I can visualize it.
And I heard the message. And this dude named Guy. It was a family that lived under us. It was two brothers and a sister. It was Betty, Aunt, and Guy. And Guy was like the cool one. He had the spiked belt. He had the rebel hat. He was, you know what I mean? Aunt was cool too, but Guy was like, he was a guy. He had the
in
radio.
The culture already.
In
the culture already.
Guy had the radio.
In the culture already.
And, there was a park like maybe 3 blocks down in the cut, like over by, I don't know if you know Jamaica Plain at all, but over by like the Sam Adams Brewery, behind there was a basketball court, like behind there up a little bit, a little further down. A little quick walk to the park. And I would go to the park and Guy would be there with the radio and I would wait for him Because I ain't really like my older brother, so I tried not to hang out with him, even though we always hung out in the same places. You know what I mean?
Shout out, Brother Starks. Shout out, Brother Starks.
And I'd be like, yo, you walk home, you play that song, and he would play it, and his room was under mine. We lived on the 3rd floor, he lived on the 2nd floor. And I would like on the floor, and he'd play it, and I'd get down on the floor and listen to it, you know, in the wintertime.
Young people hearing this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like this
right.
is like
I learned that song.
That's right.
I learned that song.
It's like,
literally.
it's like country
Through the floor.
Yeah, listening through the floor.
real.
Like listening through the floor. I learned
Like
it.
breaking through the matrix.
Walking home. All right, guy. You couldn't play it in the hallway going up to your turn down. It was this little 3-family joint.
Yeah.
And I think some real old people lived on the 1st floor. I don't even have any memory of them because we seen them that less. It was just us and God. Yeah.
Yep.
And I learned that listening through the floor. And we played a show in Brooklyn, and Raheem was there. I think it was the RA show. And I got to meet him, and I told him that story. And I was like, yo, I learned your verse from
Through the floor.
listening through the floor. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'll never forget that. And I think just a little before the message, there was because when hip hop came out, it was like a lot of it. Because
to us, yeah.
everyone was rapping something. Like, I remember telling you this the other day, like, there was a record, do you remember? You might not. It was a record called Count Cool Out. It was a dude called Count Cool Out.
Count Cool Out.
And he like rhymed in a Dracula voice. So always had cool uncles and shit. You know what I mean? So they would have these records, and I'm like, man, what is this? Like super rhymes.
Well, back in the day, like everybody, you had to have. I mean, this is even pre like style, but like you had to have. If you sounded anything like, looked anything like, talked anything like,
you had to come up with something.
Yeah, just had to say something.
Like, but like as long as it was different, it was accepted.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and in the beginning, they didn't know where to put rap.
Right.
So it was novelty.
Yeah.
That's why you had like Rapping Duke.
Yeah.
And Hambo. Remember
Yeah.
Hambo was Rambo rap.
Right.
That's why though. And those records were big. Those were like gold records.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They're on like Tommy Boy and them labels too early.
But
you know what I'm saying?
You also got to like.
It was a gimmick in the beginning for sure, as far as category.
But that's also like
so crazy.
You can't get the bar structure if you don't start there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You have
That's
to start
right.
at that step
Yep.
to get to the second step, to get to the, you know, to now it's coming back around. But like you had to, like the 90s and the early 2000s when it was built up to almost perfection. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to start at like, yo. You had to do that. 1, 2, 1, and like get the rhythm.
Yeah.
And then like throw, okay, I'm gonna do better words than that with the better
right,
rhythm.
exactly.
Like,
That's how you learn
good.
to. Yeah.
I'm gonna do better words on top of the other. Like, you know, and then it just kept building and building, and now we're like, you know,
Be like, yo, he said spectacular. Like, I'm gonna do something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even say spectacular, but I'm gonna say it like different.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Put the flavor
Like,
on it.
he said
Spice.
spectacular. I'm gonna say vernacular because it's right. You see what I'm saying? Like,
No, it starts with like you hearing a song
And it's
and
competitive as
memorizing
fuck.
it.
Like I want to have the flyest shit.
Yeah.
It's just like it's the exact same thing with the chains and the dress and all that shit. Like it's the same shit of doing that with your words. Because now you're on stage in front of everybody. Like, all right, like that's cool, but like I'm gonna think of some better shit. I'm gonna think of some flyer shit. You know
and it's the
what I mean?
same with the b-boys watching moves and the graffiti on the wall. Like that's what's so dope about it.
Super competitive, super like
it drives you.
like because you're trying to in the beginning. I imagine you're trying to like get women and shit with it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No, once I knew, like,
That was never-
once I was like, hold up, we're getting money doing this. That was it. That's when I knew, and that's in '86 or '7.
super early.
Like I did my first DJ thing. Not to cut off your story, but I did my first DJ thing. It was a art gallery in Soho, New York, Manhattan, and I'm like 15, and they were like, I don't even have 2 turntables like that. I got like a Gemini, and like I got whatever I have. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 1,200. I saved up a whole year to get one, and I saved up a whole year to get the second one. You know what I mean? But I did my first gig, and I was playing everything. Like they used to tell me Bambaataa would play anything that was like ill, like with a break. So I was doing that, and then I was playing the new hip hop, and I got $200. I'm like 15.
How do you even like end up in Soho if you're in like Newton?
No, see, so that's why like Newton, Vermont, these things are all like not really
So
you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Like,
you get. I mean, I read the rundown of like 13 days after high school. You moved to New York.
Yep, out, and had already lived there with my parents. Like,
when do you like? When does your guys' stories intertwine? Like, so you're listening to the floor. You're starting. You're already doing DJ shit. Like at 12, 13 years old. You're already like trying to figure out records and figure that shit out. You're already wild styled up. You don't know him yet. You're listening through the floor on the other side of the fucking city.
Yeah.
You're falling in love with the same art that he's falling in love with. When do you start like making music? Like.
Well, and before that, what was your first cassette?
First cassette. Oh, might have been
probably a TDK someone made.
Probably, but the first store bought might have been Breaking.
I don't know.
Breaking. It might have been Breaking. But I had records already.
Yeah.
But I was into records. Like I already had Bill Cosby with comedy records. Like I was already.
He was already DJing. Like
my pops tells a story of me having a turntable at like 5 or 6, and telling him come in the room while I like ride. Put like trucks on it, like my little cars, and turn on the wheel and watch it fly him off. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "You was scratching records early, bro."
Like Block McCloud was here last week, or this week even, and he was talking about the same thing. He was making beats. He had like his first turntables at like 11, 12, back in like 1980, and I'm like, that's so like. Nobody has that advantage. Like at that point in time, like for even have a record player is fucking crazy. Like no one's even making these things yet. Like you know what I'm saying? Like companies, one company making like one at a time.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to save up $1 million fucking dollars.
And they had the trademark on it and the copyright and all that like, too, techniques. So you couldn't even make a turntable like it.
You couldn't even get the shit. So
until
it's like
2000.
It's like this is all new shit. Like accessibility is super fucking new. So the fact that you are already into records, like anyone that's like, okay, I'm 13 years old in the 80s into records, like you're already there.
right.
Like, you're off to the races. Like, you're not going anywhere else because to get to where you are, it takes years. And you're just a kid doing it already. So like you're ahead of the game.
Yep. I'm already buying records at like 10 years old.
Are you doing the same thing on your side?
Not really. Life is a little different. Just growing up in the hood, you do hood shit. But I always loved hip hop. Always. Just like if I ain't have some homework to do, I was like trying to remember that song I heard because you didn't hear this shit a lot.
Yeah.
So I was constantly trying to I remember trying to remember Rapper's Delight, and I would remember it up to one point, and I would let it come on the radio. When it came on the radio, I wouldn't say anything, and then when it got to the point where I tailed off,
try to pick it up.
I would try to pick it up like, oh, that's what he said, because I wouldn't move on if I was saying the wrong thing. Because I really wanted to know, even though I end up saying the wrong shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's early dedication. When
exactly.
Like, when this thing isn't even a thing yet, people are like, what are you even fucking doing? You're like, I'm trying to memorize this thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Shut up. I'm listening.
But I always ask the question of how it started, though, because you guys have obviously made some big records with some big people. And when you fucking got your ear to the floor, when you're not thinking like, oh my God, the same people that are on the walls are the people that I'm going to be sharing my life story with later on, which we'll get to. But that's why I like to start it here, because as a kid, especially when you're a super fucking fan to the point where you're like, I'm the kid listening to the fucking wall.
Right.
I'm that same
hitting the floor like play the record.
That's like fucking my mother's records up with a fucking turntable that didn't work.
Didn't spin back, right?
Never knew how to do it.
And I'm in there like, look at this.
I seen Yo MTV Rap Saturday night, so I see him doing it, and I'm like, I fucking got her a Thriller record, and just fucking it up. You know, my mom's young, so she's fucking me up, fucking the records up. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. You know, so I know exactly the place that you're at, and it's dope that in your one generation.
Yep.
Like you can be with the greats.
Yep.
Yeah.
People that are actually in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. No, you don't even
No,
think
and people
about
are telling me like by 87, I'm already telling people I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be there with them. I'm gonna be there with.
And there's not even them yet.
There's a little bit though by 87.
It's like, but not really. Like
by then you got Criminal Minded, you got Paid in Full.
But they're not like, it's still very niche. It's not like LL Cool J.
Well, to me, it's not niche at that point because we're already from 82, 83. Hearing
know
it,
LL Cool J is right.
Yeah, of course.
Now LL Cool J sells like eyeglasses, in Walmart.
Right, yeah, for sure.
Like,
no,
which
it's
is
crazy.
like a fucking level of like,
it's unbelievable.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But at that time, he's the biggest star, and nobody knows who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
That's when you're doing it.
Yeah.
That's
so when you say niche in the mainstream, yes, but for us, it just was way of life.
It was life.
Yeah.
Like all you like you would
literally.
So were you one of the guys too? Because shit came out on Tuesdays. Like you're already you're already there with the pre-order slips. Like you don't know, like you're getting the pre-order slip from Sam Goody. You're skipping school that day. You're already fucking in line. Like we're getting the CD. You're going like with your money. Like all right, I got every.
Well, we coming from where you don't know where to get it yet.
Well, that's what
we had no fucking money.
Like
for
strawberry, and strawberries don't even have that yet. Like I remember going to Strawberries to find Eric B as president, and I saw another kid that looked like me going in the same direction of where those records was, and I ran to that record, and my hand went on the record first, and his hand went on it too, and he looked at me like maybe we could, and I let him know that we could, and then he was like, "Go ahead, man." And I was like. But I had that was Strawberries right there on Sturrow Drive. But I went all over town looking for it. My dad, yo, Pop, drive me over to this record store on this place.
When I first got,
that's early.
Came from the Benzino episode.
That's 85, I think.
I bought Criminal Minded. Was the first. I think 89 was when it came out. But I was at Strawberries under the Boston Garden. You had to get it was behind the glass. Like it was like in like one of those little black tape cases. It was only 20 tapes. Like the hip hop section was behind the glass. I was like 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like my pops had to be like, you can get that. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah. He had to okay it.
They had to like pull it up and put it on.
No, I worked at Strawberries for 1 year. I worked at Strawberries for 1 year.
It was like it couldn't have been more than 50 tapes.
Living the dream. Yeah, well they would put it right in front of the register after we all pilfered.
When you're in it, like when it's that, and everyone's telling you it's not going to last, it doesn't work, it's not real.
Yeah, fad. They told me that my whole life, all the way up to like last year.
Yeah,
all the way to last year. Hip hop might be making a little bit of money in 2000.
So when do you?
Yeah, a little something.
When do you transition and start like actually making music? Is it after you meet or before you meet him?
No, it was after it.
So when do you guys meet?
But 7th grade.
But you just came up in music. That was like your life.
Yeah.
You got caught up in street shit.
Yeah. And
music was like secondary.
No, music was always.
He was always thinking about like.
It's always the music. We just,
Like the first time at my crib, he's like, I can scratch. And I'm like, okay, go ahead then. And he goes, okay, I can't.
So it's like.
Yeah, what age?
But then he's like, I could rap. And then sat down and wrote a rap. You know what I mean?
What age was this then?
Let's see if it's 7th grade.
10.
Yeah, he's 10, I'm 11.
Okay, yeah.
But like, even like, because then like, you have to be, someone has to know how to make it. Like you can't just go on your computer and press a fucking button and microphones that doesn't exist.
You just rhyme over the record. You flip it over to the instrumental and be like.
But
you even had to know someone that knew how to do that though. You had to even have that equipment.
Well, even though the breaks,
you had to have a record player.
Curtis Blow, Curtis Blow, the breaks on the flip side, it says "Do it yourself." It says it right on the record.
Yeah.
Like it's the instrumental. Do it yourself rap. That's what it says. Like it was trying to encourage you to memorize these and do them. You know what I mean?
It's dope.
Yeah, man. Because see, the thing with hip hop is that for me, I knew as soon as I saw Style Wars, damn, like this is the end of us having to go somewhere and be like, yo, who these dudes over here? Because we could b-boy. We could, like I saw it right away as the answer to our problems. Yeah. Right away, little kid. That's why I said to my mom, like, that was what I should be doing. Because it spoke to me in the way of like, oh, wow. They made this off of like, yo, we don't want to bust heads no more. We tired of that. We did that already. Like, we already had a gang thing in New York. Like,
and when hip hop first came out, that was kind of the direction it was going, and it was all about knowledge and fucking power.
For sure. Yeah. And that's, that's the other part of it too for me. It was like once you started hearing that, the truth side of it, like, oh, listen to what Melly Mel's saying. Like, listen to what Melly Mel said in Beat Street Breakdown. He said, don't be a slave to no computer.
Yeah.
He said it.
Back then.
That's like 84, bro.
Yeah.
Beat Street is like 84, right? Yeah, so he's saying don't be a slave to a computer in 84. I didn't even know what a computer barely was in 84 at 12 years old. So to me, it was telling me things that as I got older right away was like, oh, I need to look further into what we're talking about here. Like,
hip hop is your vehicle for all.
Well, to bring the knowledge forward and truth.
You would like hear people say shit and you have to like go and look it up what the fuck it meant. Like you'd have to like go and like, oh, okay.
Well, and even like when Rakim comes out and he starts like putting science to his rhymes when he's doing you're like wait, did he really just say 7 MCs and put them in a line and 7 MCs and
it sounds like
crazy,
not that complicated now, but at the time when no one's doing it yet and you're trying to like figure this shit out, but like the only like when Black Dot rhymes now, Like sometimes you gotta like, who the fuck is Mickalene Thomas? Okay, you have to like look that up. Oh shit, okay,
Right.
Like, who the fuck is Sarah
Vast,
Brightman? Okay,
vast,
that's
vast
going
knowledge
through
of
the
shit.
like figuring it out. But that was like all of it back then. It
That's
was
when
like
they hip hop though.
it was supposed to be knowledge. Like, and everyone's talking about knowledge itself and fucking passing on knowledge. And it's the same.
And what was dope too was me. I looked at it like it was dope because it would be like, no, find out about you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You, not just black people, this people, that people. You're what? Polish, you're Italian, whatever the fuck you are. Find out what you are. Because that's what I used to get from KRS-One before I even linked up with them. I was like, wow, it's like telling you like, no, I'm not just saying learn black history, you should learn that. But find out who the fuck you are in this picture too.
Knowledge of self.
Yup. Yeah. That's what it means, you know? So that hip hop, it came in to do that. And it did that.
It did actually. And it's
because we're still here talking like that.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not some old man that's like, oh, and back then we were, nah, it's still relevant right now.
During like the 90s, I know the numbers, it's like the inner city minority college numbers like quadrupled. Like off the backs of like a different world, Cosby Show, and hip hop. Like because hip hop was in a different space then, and then it became different and shit changed. Yeah, and it kind of went the other way. But for a long time, like there was a lot of enrollment in the inner city, like going to college, getting educated, like off the back of hip hop. Yep, you know, and seeing
because I remember seeing knuckleheads like pulling out books now, like in the late '80s, like
leaders of the new school.
I read this.
Or
like
teachers.
You read that, bro? Like. Yo,
I wasn't no fucking dummy coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I wasn't no dummy. That used to piss my mother off because I wasn't no.
She was not playing.
Like I was getting accepted to colleges at 16. You know what I'm saying?
Hip hop. It wasn't. Knowledge was cool. Like,
It's cool to be smart.
Hell yeah.
And if you didn't have the shit, like someone that was older was supposed to break that shit down to put you in your fucking place and be like, you need to learn
school
your shit and fucking like get on this. You know what I'm saying? But that shit is like is non-existent. Now, not even just
because we were in a participation trophy era, so these kids I got a trophy for showing up. Why are you yelling at me? You know what I mean? Like I showed up.
Well, there's no
so
gatekeepers suck, but the barrier of entry, there should be a barrier of entry,
and there's none now.
There's zero. Like you can, as long as you have a fucking phone,
it's
internet, you can make
do something stupid.
And just the fact that there's labels don't have the power they once had.
Yeah,
well, that's a good thing at the end of the day.
That's
especially for someone like me who like that part of the game is why I'm not some famous. I just can never fuck with the actual industry. I made a lot of money in it, and I did all these great things, but the actual industry itself.
But it went from major labels to indie labels.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s.
Yep.
Like you had Rhymesayers, Def Jux.
And it's kind of back to that, only without.
Well,
you
it's
don't
almost
even,
no label. Yeah,
you're not even
no label. It's SoundCloud.
Well,
You're a SoundCloud.
But the problem is though, right? Is that like
that still exists, right?
If you're a young artist or a new artist trying to come up, and like I have a tool that I can press 3 buttons and make a song, like I don't have to like engineer it. I don't have to do any of that shit. So now my quality of my shit is going right through the I don't have to write anything. I don't have to memorize because I don't have to pay for studio time. So I don't gotta like memorize my rhymes. There's no cadence to it. I'm just writing the first dumb thing that's on my head because I can make 30 songs in a day that are 1 minute long each. There's no like pride in the art anymore. So like even someone like yourselves, like you'd have the same tools, but you're gonna mix, you're gonna master, you're gonna engineer, you're gonna bring the highs down, you're gonna bring the lows up, you're gonna like you're gonna like even it all out and make it sound right. And that's just like the difference though of like that barrier shit. Like there's no fucking like no one can like I can do, and then it goes a million plays, so they think that shit's like good.
And meanwhile, it's all robots. From the small guy to the little guy to the big guy.
But if you go a year later, you can't even name the songs.
Exactly.
At all.
You're like, oh, who the fuck was? Oh shit, that dude was. Oh, you're right. But he was the biggest thing in the fucking world. Tour did fucking shows in front of 70,000 people. Yeah. And the next year, you can't do 100 people.
Did you ever think about when you was out of here?
It's like, how the fuck does that even like happen?
It's quick. But that was the industry wanted it that way, but it backfired on them. They thought they were going to be able to just by now have AI artists, you know, and
that's what's next.
They're working on it, but
they're working on it.
No, they're working on it. They had one like in the pandemic, and then it failed miserably.
I'm scared, but when it comes to major labels, when you did leave high school, you went out to New York specifically because of a major label, right?
I mean, yeah, it was. I did an audition for a group that was signed to Reprise Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
and
passed.
I killed the audition, and they said, we want you, but you have to live in New York because right now all our gigs are here, and they're big. They were big gigs. It was opening up for like Jungle Brothers' second album,
Fishing Like a Man,
Tribe Called Quest only got one album out. It was like shows with them,
and it was the group was called Unity 2.
Yeah,
yeah,
Unity 2. So it was like they were from
with the first scratch DJ
with the band.
Okay,
they had a band and I was the DJ. So it was the first to be signed to a label, like a band with the DJ,
almost like the Roots.
Yeah,
no, I was gonna say
it was like a Caribbean version of the Roots, right? Like
I was gonna say almost like Slipknot. Was there a band and they?
Oh, I never knew about them. Yeah, I know.
Different era,
right?
But yeah,
no. So they were signed, and they had came from the ska world, the ska reggae world.
Yeah,
it was two dudes from this group called the Toasters, which is kind of a legendary ska band in New York. And shout out Nene and my man Cavo. Those are the two dudes, a black dude and a Haitian dude and a white dude that were from the Toasters, made this group called Unity 2. But the people in their band were all the people that played on KRS-One's Blueprint album. It was all reggae players. All reggae players.
There you go. Right into the ears of a young Tash.
So me being here, I was in a band. I was in a reggae band that toured around Massachusetts,
which is actually dope if you think about that.
Yeah,
like that, like you're working with people that like I'm in a suburb in the other side of the fucking and I'm hearing that shit like it's finding me.
You're right.
It's hard, but I'm finding
that's right.
Me,
that's right. No, the sound is finding who's gonna. Yeah,
but this is as a teen, right? You're touring as a teen.
Yep. And I had already did that because when I lived in and through probably, this is how I knew I was going to do it by 87, because in 87 I lived in, I think, Texas, or maybe 88, and I met a dude out there that was doing shows already and put us on a mini tour of Texas. We did like San Antonio, Dallas, and I'm like 15, 16, like we're all stuck in like 100 motherfuckers in one hotel room, and the phone rings, and this this dude picks up like, yeah, like, some ignorant cats from the block up in Dallas, like, yeah, somebody's yelling like this. And the dude goes, somebody know a Jane? It was my mom.
My mom.
I'm like, oh, I think that's my mom. And I pick up and she, my mom. She letting me have it so much. I'm like, I just got the phone like that. And everyone in the room is just on the floor laughing. Like, but this is my first tour. I could give a fuck that I'm going to get reamed out when I get home. And it was just because I didn't call. She allowed me to go. They knew I was going to do it too.
So you kind of like ran away on tour?
Like sort of, but not really, because they were like, it's cool. They met the guy. They knew the guy. And the guy ended up being Keir Worthy, who ended up signing KMD.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's the guy who took you on tour?
No, yeah, the first tour, Keir Worthy. That was my guy at the time. He was like in college, and he was doing. Check this out. He was doing. This is why I learned about rap in other states. I was in Texas, and this dude was getting records from other places. And I'd be like, "What's this Sir Mix-a-Lot bullshit?" And he'd be like, "Bro, that you from New York? That ain't for you." Like, but when if I bring this to this DJ downtown and play it tonight in Austin, Texas, in 1986. They're gonna go crazy.
But he got KMD signed.
Yeah, he ended up.
He is MF Doom's group.
Yeah,
we're still trying.
That's why I say it, because he ended up moving to New York. I think he was from Michigan or something. He went to Texas to go to school.
Yeah,
got into party promoting and record promoting, and that's how I learned about Too Short. That's how I learned about. And I was like, wait, they do rap in other places? And he was like, boy, get your mind out of New York. And
happy.
Yeah, the ghetto. Well, I was learning about the Ghetto Boys early before they even had the what we know as the Ghetto Boys, like in Texas.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I was already knowing, like, all right, when I get out of here, because I knew I wasn't going to stay there, I'm going to be New York. I was hoping I could do it in Boston, because I knew we were going to end up. All the family roots for me are in Boston.
Yeah.
So. But
not at that time, and maybe not even at this time. So Unity 2 though, they made a record.
Right.
You had a couple hits.
They had like so they had this. It's like reggae rap, right, with some like ska and so it's like hip hop and like all kind of like meshed together shit. But the producer was dude who it was Sidney Mills, my guy, my OG, Sidney Mills, and he had produced ghetto music for KRS-One. He's a reggae producer, and he's actually the keyboard and music director for Steel Pulse, legendary reggae group. So that's my roots in the game, because I was in a reggae band that they produced our demo. I wasn't really in the band. I was the DJ on the live shows.
Okay, so you weren't recording that album with them.
What? No. What happened was they had recorded it and got rid of their DJ and needed one.
Okay,
and because of the guys that were playing in the band, I had just worked with them. They had came to Boston and produced the band I was with. They were like, yo, you should let this nasty dude come from Boston.
He's nasty, yep.
And they were like, okay, we got someone about to choose, so come through. Came through. My pops drove me down we drove down from New York. It was crazy. I was doing a gig on Block Island.
Are you guys making music yet together?
We were making music kind of from the first like he comes to my crib and sees I got turntables.
But I only ask because like you guys,
we have tapes of us being a radio station from like we're kids. Our voices are this big.
That, like, you're Metco or something, and you ended up going out. That's how you guys met, right?
Yep.
Like so, they're busting you out to Newton, where you're at. You got the inner city shit, the hip hop where it's at, listening to the floor, and you're bringing that to you, and you're like, you already got the tables and shit set up, ready to go. So you're like, oh shit, plug.
Because I wasn't a kid in Newton that was like a Newton kid.
That's Mobb Deep story.
They were like, you're. Why does he always say man after everything? That was Newton. Like when I got to Newton, I'm like, what, kindergarten or whatever?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what's up, man? They're like, yo, why does he say man after every single thing?
Like the first day we met. This is how we met. This is how we met. Yo, you got fat laces, man. You my man.
Oh yeah,
because you already know.
And we was
that was like the club.
The signal
you're in the exactly. You're in the club if
that was
you know what that is.
That was exact, right? Right?
Yep.
That was exactly. You had the Pumas on, and I was like, yo, you got the fat laces. You my man. New kid in school. Nobody knew him. Shit. Nothing. Walked into class. Yo, you got the fat laces. You my man. We was like this. I think I came out to your house like the next week, right?
Yeah. Because then you said I remember because it was like wood shop, so it was some like smooth floors. So he seen like I had probably some b-boy pants on, like, and I'm not even b-boy, but I was hip hop all the way in my mind already. So
it's making me like long for that time because even 10 years later, when I was that age, you dress a certain way. You see somebody who's dressed hip hop,
right? You're like, yo, what up?
Like instant friends.
Yes.
Shit.
Yep.
Shit.
So he was he was like, so what's he was like, you gave me the pound, and then he was like, so what's all this about? You be b-boying or something? You know, he said some slick shit, and I was like. Not really, but a little bit. And he was like, you can't do this. And then you busted out some shit real quick. And I was like, nah, but I could do this. And I did some like footwork. Like the teacher was like, you guys, they started screaming at us. He looked right at me. He was like, I'm your brother, man. We brothers. We're brothers. And I was like, all right, cool. So in the next class that we got in with the wood shop again, you said, yo, so since we brothers, I'm going to come to your house.
Yeah.
And I said, all right. And then he said, this is exactly what you said. Should I say it?
Go ahead.
Okay. He said.
Now I'm at the edge of my seat.
He said, what you gonna do? What's your mama gonna do when you bring a nigga home? And I said, she's probably gonna say, hi, I'm Jane. I'm gonna, you want some food? And he was like, yeah, right. You were like, yeah, right.
Yeah, you go through that shit.
Because he's coming from Roxbury, and most kids, that is what's gonna happen. Yeah. Now, me, I'm coming from Alston. I lived in LA. I'm not suburban. So I'm looking at him like, oh, okay, nah, it ain't gonna be no thing. Kidding me? And he's like, yeah, right. I'm like, what? You're gonna walk in? She's gonna say, I'm Jane. I'm his mom. Do you want a sandwich? I'm telling you.
Did you get offered the sandwich?
Listen,
it was exactly like that.
That's exactly what happened. We walked in. I said, it's Rico. It's my brother. And she goes, hi, Rico, I'm Jane. Do you guys want sandwiches? I just made some, whatever, tuna fish or whatever. And you looked right at me like, we're brothers forever now.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where I'm
that's it.
I'm trying to get the
then
dynamic.
he sees the turntables. We're out of here.
So you guys like me. How old are you at this point in time?
I'm 10.
10.
He's 10. I'm 11.
10, 11 years old. And you're in your 50s now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
this was a little while.
You guys have been making music together like since then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically. And you guys both live in Vermont now.
Yep.
Do you guys like live in the same house and shit?
No.
Nah. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you guys obviously have like a kinship that like.
Yeah, we just always end up in the same place. Like when he was in New York, like once because I used to call him all the time. Imagine you sitting there and you see your brother on MTV Raps with KRS-One.
Yep.
Yeah.
Call him. Yo, that's you on MTV Raps? He like, yeah. Now it's a taping. He's on the phone.
Right.
But he's on the TV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he's on the phone right now, but
we're watching him.
That's
but like, yo, how'd you? So imagine that. And I'm already, what really made me start writing rhymes is it's a crazy wind down. So obviously Melly Mel made me like feel hip hop. The message made me feel hip hop because that shit was right out the window, right? So it made me feel it. Rakim came, made me think about it, right? Mm-hmm. And then this is gonna fuck you up. I skipped a whole day of school the first time I heard Potholes in My Lawn. So De La made me like, I can do this shit.
I can do this shit, yeah.
I can do this shit. And that's who I'm going to do it with. Because them right there, even though I'm coming out of this, like, by the time Native Tongues came, like, I was like, if I'm going to join a hip-hop crew, because that's what we all be like, I'm going to be in this hip-hop. If I could join a hip-hop crew right now, it would be Native Tongues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because not all my inspiration, but a lot of my inspiration comes from that, just that way, just that sound. And like, I'm the only motherfucker on the block in a flowered shirt.
I was just gonna say that part.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
no
back
one on
then,
the
he's
block.
in Roxbury with the De La Soul
I always say
gear on.
Styles P is like, he always says his favorite group is his favorite rappers with De La Soul.
Word,
all the
word.
time. Like, and it's just like trying to picture Styles P, just
right?
like
Yeah, like
soul
hippied
shit.
out.
Like, someone always asks me, like, yo, who's your favorite MC? And I always look at him and say, you're gonna say Rakim, and you wouldn't be wrong, but you're never gonna say Q-Tip or Pasta News, and you're gonna miss.
Did you ever get to work with him?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But yeah,
So on the agenda.
it's on the agenda. I mean, I don't really have an agenda. We just love this shit.
But
We are still two kids making this shit.
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
It's like,
Yeah.
it's what I mean.
It is
Kinda
that
just- kinda
complete-
just-
Like,
When it come to our shit, it's like
Hip-hop
it's
is
just
super
we're just always
accessible.
doing it.
Like, it's, I don't know how rock and roll is and all this shit, like, but hip hop, like, if you're willing to go to the place that they're making it, you're willing to hold your own there, like, you'll be accepted. Like,
Yeah.
you'll have access. Like,
Yeah.
it's not really hard to get access, even from some of the greats.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really that hard. If you come with the correct flavor, the correct respect, you know your shit. Like, you're telling a great, I listened through the floor for you. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's just like,
exactly.
Nah, it's probably one of my favorite pictures. That and
Yeah,
said G from Ultramagnetic. We was at
that was crazy.
it was whose party was that? Static?
Yeah,
We were going to a party. I'll make it quick because we was talking about something.
that's good.
We was going to a party and I was like, yo, you know what came on the other day and it's had me wilding, like ego tripping. I remember ego tripping coming out and being like, MC Ultra Magnetic. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? Certain shit came out and made you like, oh shit. And that for me, that was one of them songs. We're going to a party. We're talking about that. Now I'm in the car. MC Ultra Magnetic with parking spot. Oh, well, it's parked by where this rat just came out. Yeah, all right, boom. Spin around. We go to the hotel. Stand outside. We're like, yo, we're going upstairs. Static. He's on the list, of course. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. This, that, and the third. I'm like, I'll be back. Got to go to the bathroom. Yo, what's the bathroom? Way over there, around the corner. This, that, and the third. Yeah, sounds like I got to go outside. I go outside, use the bathroom, piss on a rat or two. I come back. We was downtown Brooklyn. We was in Dumbo. Where was that?
yeah, something like that.
Close to. I come back, yo, guess who's it? Who? Said G. Oh, yo, we was just talking about these. Like, I just told him, and I was like, yo, man, like, I don't ask this question a lot, but can we take a picture? He was like, yeah. I had a fly ass MF Doom shirt that day too.
That was a good pick.
And he just looked at me like, I was like, I was just singing that song.
And that was
We
crazy.
Just talking.
No, we were coming from a show too, remember? And at the sound check,
Yes.
they was playing
Yes.
a Ultra Mag song.
Yes.
So it was
Yes.
like on the third one, Ultra
yeah.
Mag walked out the
Yeah.
fucking elevator. That was great.
I mean, I'm sure they don't compare, but just he was there with the Onyx shit, and we're sitting there listening to fucking It Was Written, rapping the lyrics with Onyx.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
You was at the Onyx show too?
No, not that one, but
Oh,
there was one
okay.
in Maine that we were at,
Oh,
and fucking we're back there. Quick little interview, but like, you know, like It Was Written was just on. They had that just playing on the radio.
Right.
So in between, like, you're smoking and like rapping lyrics
Yeah.
to It Was Written with fucking Onyx.
right.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's dope.
If I told my 13-year-old self that, like, when I'm
Right.
walking to the bus stop with Throw Your Guns in the Air playing on my skipping CD player that I'm
Yeah.
holding,
Yeah,
so it won't roll.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and I'm the only one on the bus listening to this shit, and I'm fighting with kids about it and all sorts of shit. And like, oh yeah, but in 30 years, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? But
Yeah.
hip hop is super accessible like that.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It
Like,
is.
if you're willing to put your work and your time in, like
Especially
anyone, like
nowadays.
it's like it's so accessible,
Especially-
and people will let you in. So it's just cool like that, and so you can actually do that. Like, oh, I want to work with this. I mean, you work with Mobb Deep.
Yeah, yeah.
You know-
Well, because look,
cool
what,
like
like
that.
for me, right? my
I know that just happened. When you start, anytime anybody says like a phrase that's back to a hip hop,
but it wasn't that long
your
ago.
mind just goes
at the Root show. We're backstage with Diggable Planets, and I'm in a lunch line behind the woman going, "A game of horseshoes, a game of horseshoes," and I'm in line behind her, and Questlove's in front of me, and I'm like Quest, the Questlove, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like this is, but yeah, the Questlove, you know what I mean? Because I'm a fan of hip hop, and that's fucking Questlove, you know what I mean? Super nice, awesome fucking guy, super accommodating, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's just that's that crazy shit where like you go back to your 13-year-old self, your 12-year-old self.
I never left there, really, honestly.
Me either.
Look at any of us right now. None of us left. None of us left.
If I had this at 13, I would have been.
Like, this is where
wildin'.
This is the room where I wanted to listen to records when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. Like, this is that I created that room.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Just not to change the subject, but because of stems with the DJ shit, where you can break the records down like beats, drums, bass, whatever. It's like DJing again in my room like a kid. Now, whatever I think I could maybe do, I can pretty much because I got all this control now. So it's like everything is we're at this dope spot where it's like hip hop finally flipped over, like whatever cycle.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't realize that like Rapper's Delight and all that stuff was like one hit wonders.
Yeah.
And that was the era we've been in for a while, right? And then there came a group. And everyone was rapping.
Because everyone was getting single deals.
Right. And that's all there was to it, right? The albums weren't a thing yet.
Even like in the 90s still with like single deals and shit.
Yeah, for sure. But in the beginning, it was just singles, right? Run DMC might be like one of the first albums. There's like a couple Sugar Hill albums, you know what I mean? So everyone up to that point of Run DMC rap like Zabba-Dabba-Dabba-Dabba, right? Everyone had the one-hit wonder style. Then Run DMC came out and they were yelling. So everybody started yelling, right? Everyone. You got Grandmaster Caz, all of them making yell records. Now that's kind of what we have, right? It's not the same music or style or anything, right? But we just got everyone making the same records. Oh, that's hot. I'm going to do that. Like, so what you have, Run DMC is Migos. Migos changed the game. They all started dressing. No one dressed like Run DMC before Run DMC. Only people on the streets. Yeah. No rappers ever. They look like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, right. Even they started out like, we gotta like
the suits.
Yeah, we gotta jazz it up. Yeah. Like, no, don't.
The Argyle suits and shit.
So they start rapping like that and looking like that, and then that's just big shift in hip hop of like, can we really be ourselves up here? Like, yeah, you can. That's Migos though, right? That's who they fucking with them tight shirts, blouse shirts or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're Q-Tip in that way. Right? When Q-Tip first came out, we were like, what's he wearing? You know what I mean? He's
Q-Tip had no type.
Yeah, everyone that came with something different, it's like, what the fuck? But as soon as you hear it, that's the dope thing about hip-hop, right? As soon as you hear it, you're like, oh, okay. He can.
As long as it was different, too.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't matter. Like,
so we're there again, though. Like, in other words, Run DMC, Migos, but what came after Run DMC?
Right.
That's where we're at right now. And that's Rakim. That's Public Enemy.
Yeah,
that's
Chris,
BDP.
Yeah,
right. That's
cool
the Ultra. Yep. Yeah. Ultra Mag. The whole Juice Crew shit. You know what I'm saying? So
you ended up DJing for Boogie Down Productions.
Yeah,
it was Unity 2 group. The album gets shelved, right?
It doesn't get shelved, but like they had a hit that was a remix, and the band was a hassle for the the rap industry. Band wasn't. No,
too many pieces.
Way too many, and they were all seasoned veterans in the reggae world, so they wasn't playing no games. Pay me what you said. There was no. Oh, I'm just so happy to be here. No. Which was good for me because I was happy to be there, and them OGs was putting me on.
So how did the Boogie Down Productions? How did you end up with KRS-One?
So all those guys that were playing in the band were playing on KRS-One's Edutainment.
Okay,
and had played on the Ghetto Music album.
Which is also crazy because people don't realize, like, when I learned that, like, Underground Kings, like, fucking, like, Pimp C played, like, 20 instruments.
Right.
You're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, a lot of people, you'd be surprised.
All of it, like, Shock G, all of that shit, like, fucking, they all, like, that's all real instrument shit. Like, those early records, there is, like, obviously drum beats and shit in there and, like, break beats and stuff, but a lot of that's, like, actual saxophone, actual horns, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't notice that because now in the middle of the 90s, everything was sampled and everything was started to make with machines.
Yeah.
You didn't need to bring band members in anymore.
Yeah.
But that early shit, you don't really fucking like you go back and you're like, wow, I didn't fucking
So they were signed and we did little tours and stuff, but they didn't want the band. So then they got some. A Q-Tip actually did a remix for them that I did the scratches on, and I was like, I was literally had just moved to New York from high school in Newton, Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, I'm already connected with the people I want to meet.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And then they did this like house remix of one of their songs, and that became a hit. So then when they were like band goodbye, and we were touring. And we were just going to clubs doing the one song. But we were getting paid out the ass. It was dope. I was a kid like, this is amazing. Like, you mean, wait, we get to do the one song and then we're just in the club all night? Like, yeah. Wild. I'm like 19, 18, whatever. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. But in the meantime, I'm building with the people in Boogie Down Productions because my OGs are down with them. They're in Unity 2's band, but they're all BDP guys. You know, so they're all like, yo, meet us at the studio. So I'm starting to meet Heather B at the time, Kenny Parker, you know what I mean? And just being around all the people. And I was already so into what BDP was about, that to me it was like a perfect fit because I was ready to read books. And because when I met KRS-One, he said, did you read this book? And I was like, no. And he was like, well then, you know.
So you obviously have a close relationship with KRS-One.
Go read it. Nah, not really.
Not really?
No. It's just that he didn't want anyone around him that was going to look like, who's this ignorant motherfucker? Even though he had ignorant motherfuckers around him, it was the knowledge era. So he threw books my way just to see how I'd react, really. And it was just how he kind of treated people.
I don't think they do the same these days.
No, I don't think so.
But you're on tour.
Like, in other words, he looked at it like, okay, you're palling around with Harmony. Maybe because what happened was Harmony needed a DJ, and KRS-One had just produced Harmony's album. Harmony is Miss Melody's sister. At the time, Miss Melody is is KRS-One's wife. So when I'm going to the studio and hearing people's albums before they're, coming out and shit, Harmony is like, Nasty, I need you to DJ for me. So that's how I really get in with the crew because they're like, oh, yeah, he's dope. All right, cool. Like, that's your DJ? Yeah. So then I start getting cool with D-Nice and all the. But I'm a kid too.
Are you going on tour with them?
I just did shows, shows, and then.
What was it like back there backstage?
That's what I was trying to get to.
In the midst of it all, yeah.
Because so
it's
we
different.
ask.
Yeah, it's different than it was. It still was people smoking weed and regular shit.
Okay.
But you might get a really crazy conversation. But with KRS-One is talking to some elder and the whole room is fucking listening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you get in there with the Jungle Brothers and it's so cloudy we can't even see each other. You know what I mean?
Were there girls back then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the difference. Like, some of these younger cats be saying, like, no, nobody want to party that, like, conscious rap or whatever. And I'm like, bro, see, that's how I know you don't know. We were grinding on broads with the fucking Brand Nubian playing. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
But being with KRS-One at that point in time when hip hop is like.
He's like Jay-Z at the time. When I get to it. He's Edutainment KRS.
It's more than even that because we ask all the time like what's the best hip hop record, whatever, but like who is the most hip hop person?
Right.
Like KRS-One,
he's up there with as a hip hop person.
You're not going to really argue about it. You're going to be like, all right, like I mean, who else is like so with that like. What the fuck is that like? Like when he is driving the hip hop ship, and you're a kid there who was a fan of hip hop.
No, it was.
How the fuck are you ending up with like the guy?
Yeah, it's literally dreams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like where else?
But check this out. So check this out though. The year I'm going into like that's gonna happen, that whole school year or whatever. My parents used to always teach me to visualize what I was trying to do, right? So made
got those hippie parents.
Okay. So I had taken. At the time, Latifah's album was out, and there wasn't a lot of scratching on the album. So I made a tape of me being her DJ, right? Mm-hmm. And it was literally me, like as if we did a live performance. So I knew all her breaks. I got a scratch for that. Jesus. This one, right? Now, every night I didn't have a gig, because I had a lot of gigs by then already. So every night I didn't have a gig, I would go home, I would go to bed listening to that tape, and the two turntables was my pillows, and I would literally do the tape, the whole show.
Well,
I did that for a whole
visualizing the show. Wow.
I did that for a whole year. Now we're talking about Queen Latifah. Now here I am with Harmony, right? And where are we going? We're going to Dana's. Who's Dana? Queen Latifah. Where are we going? We're going to her session. She's working on her second album. So the visualization, I always tell people it's the most realest thing, especially at that age, because I believed I could do anything at that time. So I was doing it. I'm there.
You did?
Yeah. Miss Melody's picking me up in the Benzo. We're picking up Harmony.
Rebel.
We're driving it.
Yeah, man.
No, for real. She was and Melody, and then we're huge creative forces in KRS's creative process.
What was he like back then? Was he beating the shit out of people? Like, what was KRS?
He's don't ever forget, he's just a rude boy from Brooklyn and Bronx.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's why I'm asking. Like, what? Because
giant man.
All that Captain Human shit. He wasn't playing that shit, but he was he had knowledge of self early, so he was he always was willing to play the bigger man until we were just talking about this. Until BDP was over. And he knew it was going to be over. Then he started smacking PM Dawn, and you know what I mean. And we used to say to people like, "Don't forget who the cat is like at his root, man. He come from the hood of like."
What's something that like
was Just Ice hanging around then?
Yeah, he used to be around
because he was probably knocking motherfuckers out.
Yeah, he was not taking the political like like step up and get knocked through the fucking ceiling with just like a lot of street dudes though. KRS too, but he just was like. Until that PM Dawn in that era, he was like, nah, that's not what I'm trying to keep out there.
Yeah.
I got a song called...
Wait, so you saying that he just didn't mind having a rougher reputation after Boogie Down Production?
Kinda, because he looked at it like, first of all, y'all taking shots at me every fucking year. You know what I mean? Like, because being in the crew, you would hear the shit that was like, you know, it might not be something he's going to go make a record about, but it's something he was like, yo, what the fuck? They calling me this over here? Like, fuck you.
What's something like about KRS-One that like an average fan wouldn't know, but someone that's like on the inside? Like, what's...
I don't know. He's pretty...
Or a story.
I don't know.
Remember,
you want to know a funny KRS story? So, I love this story because I see it in my mind every time I tell it. So, when I get to New York in 1990, it was the New Music Seminar. And I'm Harmony's DJ and Unity 2's DJ. So I'm getting to be known in circles. And they would just tell me just meet us here. Someone will come with a pass and you'll be in. So there was a show on 40 Deuce. It was called a theater called the Lyric Theater. And this is a new music seminar. So new groups are going to play. You might have heard of them, you might not have, but new groups are going to play and they're playing for free, but they're charging to get in. But meanwhile, at this place, it was a balcony. And BDP kind of took over the balcony with other artists. I'm talking like Chubb Rocks right over there. You know, every rapper was at the New Music Seminar in 1990. Every rapper, West Coast, East Coast. 1990 is when I wasn't there, but I was at that seminar when Ice Cube got jumped and King's Son was whooping ass. So I'm in there with KRS. Groups are coming out. Some of them, I can't remember all of them, but D-Nice was going to perform. That's why we were there. As BDP. Now, I would say we. I'm the dude like, go get the water. Go get the, yo, Nasty. Go get the fucking Haagen-Dazs. You know what I mean? Like, I say it like that, but I'm the scrub. I'm the go get it.
You're still there though.
But I'm there though.
You're on
exactly.
The boat.
Exactly.
You are there.
And was willing. Like I got no ego about it. Like I'm rolling with the illest crew.
Part of history.
Yeah. So a group, the host comes out. D-Nice goes on, kills it. So we're all gonna hang out and watch the rest. I think Moni Love was gonna perform. And they say, yo, we got some guys from Texas who come out here and show y'all how they do it in Texas, da-da-da-da. So this little midget guy comes running out on stage. Now, you got to remember, it's 1990 New York. We don't know a lot about hip-hop somewhere else. So this little guy comes out. And New York is like you know how you might see Showtime at the Apollo and they booing them? That's New York at that time. Anywhere is Showtime at the Apollo. We used to laugh about that. Like, yo, don't get Showtime at the Apollo. Like, so the Ghetto Boys come out. It's Scarface, it's Willie D, it's Bushwick Bill. Now they're laughing at Bushwick Bill. Like the audience, not even like up in the lounge area or whatever, where we can see from the balcony. It's not like that. They're kind of just watching, like, who are these dudes?
Right. And Willie D is also like a massive fucking huge massive.
Yeah. So they come out, and the first thing they say is, yo, New York, we want to show love. So let's do a moment of silence for Trouble T-Roy. He had just passed away. So the whole New York was like, oh, okay, salute. Got quiet. Yo, thank you, DJ. Play our record. Record comes on. Scarface start rapping about having sex with dead bodies and shit. KRS, I'm sitting right next to KRS-One. KRS, people, you start hearing boos. KRS-One jumps up. Boo! That's it. The whole lounge. Boo! Balcony. Boo!
Oh my God. Boo! I wasn't expecting that to be where the story went.
Boo! Boo! Like a Showtime at the Apollo level boo. They left. Ghetto Boys. They didn't run on stage. They was like, they tried to be, they was G's about it. They were like, really? Like, we can't just... And they just got off.
That's funny.
So the whole BDP, and there's a picture somewhere of that night, I remember, because I was standing next to the photographer. And that was the same night. There was a lot of beef in Brooklyn with the Koreans and the community, you know what I'm saying? Like,
let's do the right thing.
Chubb Rock was like, it was fucked up, but Chubb Rock was like, yo, y'all fuck with that shit that's going on in Brooklyn? And of course, everyone's, like, nah, fuck them, the fucking Korean motherfuckers. This motherfucker started a egg roll chant. Chubb Rock. Go egg roll, go egg roll, go egg. And the whole New York is singing it, bro. I'm giving you saying it not to put Chubb Rock under the bus. A great guy, you know what I'm saying? But just to show you that was the era we was in. We was really like this, but with purpose. You know what I mean? Some of it ignorant, but with purpose. Like, no, you're in our community taking all the money, and you're being fucked up to us.
Yeah,
that's the story. You know what I mean? There's certain things that was just that. So
hip hop used to stand on 10 toes anyway. Like, that was part of the deal. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to be what the fuck you were talking about as well. You had to stand up for shit, and that was all part of the fucking deal. Like, you were the real thing.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck you were talking about, because it took money and investment to get into it at the beginning because it was expensive.
That's right.
Then.
Yeah. You couldn't just do it.
Somebody that was making money in the streets somehow, and usually people making money in the fucking streets somehow aren't the most pushover fucking people.
That's right.
So it's like...
Yeah,
especially
man.
to have expendable money to like spend on gold chains and fucking techniques and shit like that. Which are fucking pretty expensive back in the day.
Yeah, no, they were crazy. Like I said, I saved up a whole year for one. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to being a kid. But
So it goes. Well, the actual your debut with music, you met up with Dante Ross, right?
Yeah, like that's like right in that mix because Dante Ross had a crew called SD50 that was producing Third Base, and they produced Unity 2.
Got you.
So I was meeting SD50. Shout out my man Gibby and my man Game was RIP. Those are my guys right there. Dante too. Those were the first people that showed me the business and of you're getting into making beats and shit. That ain't just live performance, get paid, go home. That's you need to know what this is, you know?
What's crazy is like your age and where you are, like there's not many people doing it yet. So like they're all crossing the same place. Mm-hmm. Like there's only like 20 rappers.
Exactly.
So it's like they're all going, and there's only 9 guys that know how to make the beats and engineer it. So the 20 guys are going to the same 9 guys. So if you're in the room, chances are you're gonna meet most of the people that are in the game because there's not many people yet.
There's 20 rappers that are out.
Yeah.
Because if you used to read the liner notes, you could see. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Right. I remember Leaders of the New School getting shouts out on the early album years before they came. Organized Confusion, all these people, all these names. You know,
like there was a time that you could go into like a store and you would literally have every single album that was available for purchase because like there was only a handful of them. You know what I'm saying? Like trading cards, you'd have every card. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's true.
Shit would come on Tuesday. If you didn't have it, you'd like, all right, like your man would get one and you'd get one, and then you'd like dub it and you'd have like the tape of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you'd have everything.
Yeah, one of my first confirmations of knowing that I was going to be able to do the business part was when I worked at Strawberries in the Watertown Mall. And De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising was about to come out. And I told the manager, you should order like 20 of those. And he was like, yeah, right. And I was like, I'm serious, man. Like, I know you don't like rap and shit, but I think you should. And he bought whatever he bought. And they saw it on the first day when the album dropped. And now I looked at him and I looked at myself like, I understand the business.
When do you guys start like making like projects, making music? Like how I'm just trying to figure out how your stories are intertwined because obviously
right, because we're kind of like leaving some of that part out. Like throughout all of high school, we're wanting to do it.
Yeah,
you guys as a group together, the two of you,
and just making music. Like we don't even know what Be a Group is.
Yeah,
we're more just like, yo, if you could get your raps together, you know what I'm doing.
You don't rap at all.
I do now.
You do now,
but then
you did
no,
and you don't make beats at all. You're rapping and he's making the beats.
I'm rhyming.
At this time.
He's making the beats.
Do you remember your first rhyme?
Do you make beats at this point in time?
I do kinda.
He could DJ a little too if he just
Wait,
but your in is lyricism. You're a rapper. That's like your
I'm an MC.
So look,
thing is you're an MC.
So we're talking about it, and I'm playing him mixtapes or whatever I'm making at the time, and telling him the moves I'm getting ready to make. Then I moved to New York, and now he's calling me and leaving raps on my answer
Don't
machine.
forget about me.
On my answer machine.
Nah,
no, nothing like that.
better.
No, we're talking all the time. But in other words, he ain't there, so I'm gonna leave a message.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave a rap.
Leave a message.
So he would leave raps. And I'd be like, I would call him and he'd be like ready for the like, yeah, that was dope or whatever. And I'd be like, listen, when you're serious, we could talk about that. Because at the time, he's a foot in the streets too. So the realness of our brotherhood is that you know what I'm doing and it's no fucking games. Yeah. I'm not, and I got a goon squad that rolls with me everywhere I'm going in New York because that's New York at the time. But I'm not on that. I'm not bringing that energy. That's just in case some weird shit pop off because we're in the hood. You know what I mean? Like, I don't come from money, so I didn't move to New York and I'm chilling. I'm moving to New York in the first year. I'm living on people's couches for a year. Then my first crib was in Bed-Stuy in 1991. Like, we're talking like bang, bang, shoot 'em up Bed-Stuy, not this coffee latte joint they got now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was real shit. You know, so I forgot what I was going
being in Bed-Stuy in 91.
Yeah.
Trust.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but not even that. Look who you're around. I mean, like the music that's coming out. Like, are you?
Yeah. I lived on St. James and Fulton.
That guy is right outside.
That's Biggie's across the street from me.
Yeah, he's right outside. I've seen Biggie
and that area was,
so like when the freestyle like shit when he's out in front of the chicken spot like battling and shit.
Well, that's the fish store,
the
right?
fish store, yeah.
No, that's actually it looks just like it, but it's actually further down Fulton. The battle that we all seen,
Is it?
But yeah, it is. Because they told me the street it was. Free and them told me what street it was.
Okay. So are you there for this?
I'm not there for that. But I moved on St. James and Fulton probably 93.
So you live on actual St. James?
Right on the corner. Right on the corner. I watch him, you know the famous Biggie where he's throwing dice and he's got the red brick behind him, he's a liquor stores behind him, and he's got the Timbos on.
Doing the pull-ups.
The house is right here on that corner. Is that the corner? You live right there in that corner?
Yep. I live, Biggie live like over there across the street.
Okay, so you're on the other, okay, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I've been to that intersection a million times.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up there.
Right there. So it used to be on the corner there was a liquor store and a laundromat.
Yeah.
And then above the laundromat was abandoned. I lived in the building right next to that.
I was literally standing on that corner like a year and a half ago.
Word.
Yeah, because
it's a drugstore now.
Well, I don't know what the front of it is. I went to the house. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I went to the house. There's all the murals and all that shit. But I've been there like a bunch of fucking times.
Yeah.
So I know exactly the spot you're talking about.
Yeah.
Did you go down the street and eat at Luigi's?
Oh, man.
Come on. It's the best pizza down there.
Yeah, that's the best pizza.
I ate the pizza by the bridge.
That was literally...
It was the one. It was the one that everyone waits for.
Crazy line.
Yeah. But I got there like I did it the right way and shit.
That
like
shit
that. I've had the Farah and shit. Like I've been outside in Brooklyn and had some good fucking pizza. Best fucking Red Hook, all that shit. But anyway.
Yeah. But
that's crazy if you were in that area at that time.
Yeah.
So is that all real? Like that? Is he really out there doing that like that?
I would say from my perspective, he was small time hustling on the block and trying to get his music off.
That's not. I didn't even mean I was talking about the music part first. Is he really out there like fucking trying to push that music off like that? Like, was that really his shit? Like,
I think he was like when I was there, like, and because I had homies from Flatbush that knew him. They were friends. They would drop my man off and go see Big.
Did you know him?
Yeah, like dudes that were in the same mix. In other words, I would hear songs. I would hear Biggie music.
Did you know him like personally?
Yeah, so this is a funny Biggie story.
But I'm saying before he was Biggie.
I know Biggie. This is when I met Biggie, when he had Party and Bullshit out.
Biggie Smalls.
Okay.
When he was Biggie
That's
Smalls.
92.
And check it out, yeah. So that's when I moved to St. James.
Yeah. 92.
So
that's a crazy time to
watch this. Watch this though.
That's wild.
Watch this though. So the guy that ran the pizza shop, it was called Straight Up Pizza, and it had the Mutant Ninja Turtles on the pull down gate, right? So I'm a dude that I'm doing this music shit. That's what I do. I'm walking with records all the time. So there's this dude that comes out and he says, yo, man, I see you. Comes out the pizza shop. It's a Puerto Rican dude. He's like, yo, I see you all the time with these damn records, man. Fuck you doing? What's good? What do you do? I said, I'm a DJ and a producer. He's like, yeah. Yo, you heard of Biggie Smalls? I'm like, and I'm in the mix. So I'm like, yeah, I heard of him. He's like, word? Yo, there go Biggie right over there across the street. And I'm like, come on, son. He goes, no, I'm serious. I'm like, come on, B. He goes like this, yo, Big. Motherfucker turned around across the street, it was Biggie Smalls. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh shit, that is Biggie Smalls. He's like, yo, you need to fuck with me, son. That's my man right there. And I need beats and I need that and that. So that's my intro.
Huh.
Who is the guy that you?
It's a dude named Porter Rock. He's in all the stories. Yeah. So he used to tell me call him Scarface because he had the buck 50 down like this. Go call me Scarface. I was like, yo, bro, you're wild, bro. So check this out.
Name on all the albums and shit.
So one day, So one day he comes and he sees me. He's like, yo, come fuck with me in the pizza shop. Now it was a wild pizza shop. He had two Arab dudes, twins, was selling the slang in the pizza. But they was doing things out of the pizza shop. You know what I'm saying? So dude's like, yo, come with me in the pizza shop. I go behind the counter. He opens the door in the floor. Go downstairs. He got this like plush office underneath the pizza shop. This dude, his pizza slices were $1 early, $1 slice. He said, I got to feed the community. I'm doing enough damage to the community with some of the stuff I've done in my life. I got to always make sure there's a constant give back. So I was fucking with him off that. Like, oh, okay, you one of them gangsters. So I'm like, but at the meantime, I'm also like, I don't like Big Papa. I don't like any of this juicy shit. This shit sucks. Like, I'm that guy in Brooklyn. I think those songs suck.
But give me the loot out.
Right. His album crazy, but those single songs fuck out of here. I don't even want to play them when I'm DJing.
Is Puff around at this time? Is he outside?
I mean, I got some funny like interactions with Puff just here and there, but nah.
But he's not outside like with the people.
So this dude started showing me his plan. It was called Straight Up. Everything was called Straight Up.
You talking about his Porter Rock?
Yep.
Okay.
He had a whole plan typed out about Porter Rock. I mean, straight up clothing, straight up pizza, straight up everything, and it was all feed and clothe the people. Everything was going to be affordable. So then he was like, so I need beats because I could do what that Puff motherfucker is doing. And I'm like, what you mean? And he starts singing like old classic, we are families. Like, we got to loop that up. I'm like, oh, yeah, you got the wrong guy. You got the wrong guy. I said, I hate that kind of music, bro. I think that shit's like some MC Hammer shit, man. I ain't fucking with that. And he's like, what if Biggie was going to rap on it, though? I'm like, I kind of don't even want to be the guy that gives him that beat. That's how young and hip-hop, like, no, hip-hop. Pure only.
Pure. I'm still kind of that way.
Yeah, right?
You know what I mean?
So we got cool, you know what I mean? And then I watched them film Juicy from my roof of St. James.
Yeah, because he's right up front, yeah.
Yeah, I literally can hear the music playing, and I'm like, what are they doing out there? Like, oh, shit, yo, look. So and that's when I knew, like, oh, shit. Because then, you know, obviously really soon a video comes out, and we already knew. Because I had the big, at the studio that Chung King, where we were working on albums, a lot of albums with Dante Ross, as a matter of fact. I had the Big Mac. The Craig Mack and Big. It wasn't mine, but a dude had it at the studio and was like, wait till you hear this. Man, and played us the Craig Mack and Biggie demos.
Now that fucking
my God,
it's gotta be one of the greatest.
Shout out my man Tate from Hard to Attain. He had that shit and was like, "This is gonna be the biggest shit ever, ever."
Was like Junior Mafia running around outside at the same time?
Yeah, they're out there. Yep, I used to see a couple of them dudes. I forget some of their names now, but I used to see a lot of them because we all smoke weed, so we're all in the best weed spots. And bumping into each other, and they start knowing to do music, and Porter Rock is telling them like, yo, that's a good dude right there, like make like, you know, they the dudes telling me like, yo, Nasty, go inside. Why? They about to start shooting out here, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm the dude that like, nah, I live on the block, but I'm not shooting nobody. I mean, I got a pistol, but I'm in the house with it, like I'm.
and
you have a house pistol.
I got the home security pistol, like, you know.
You're saying Big's out there, but just a small time hustler.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, but it's a small window. We're talking about from Party and Bullshit to Juicy. Because once Juicy comes out, you don't see him.
He's gone.
You don't see him, he's gone. But I seen him do photo shoots, and I talked to him a bunch of times. Like, I have funny interactions with him throughout some time that in Brooklyn. Because he was like, he'd be out there. So I'd go and tell him I got beats. At the time, I was going to work with the Far Side. Oh, I work with these dudes. I work with that. And he just looked at me and was like, it's all good, player. Or something like that. Like, just nah. Because meanwhile, I'm like, my crib's right there. I got a studio. And at the time, people are pulling up at my spot. People that ended up being people. And like,
yeah, plus you got to try.
You know, and plus it's like, because I'm learning to engineer too. I'm this dude that people really want to fuck with. He got crazy beats and he can record you at his crib.
Yeah.
So like people from like, let's see, I'm trying to think of a good underground rapper that used to come to my, Mike Zoot. You ever heard of Mike Zoot? These are like Stretch and Bobbito favorites. Okay. Cage. Oh, Cage. Yeah. There you go, Cage.
Yeah.
Cage, I got tapes of Cage in my crib. He don't even have records yet. He's just a kid that raps, a white kid from Brooklyn that they were like, go to Nasty's crib. So I was trying to get Biggie. So I was trying to get Biggie to come up because it was like, bro, I'm not just some guy that's like, yo, bro, I got some beats or whatever. Especially back then, I'm really looking at him like, come on, bro, like you're gonna come up.
What was Cage like back then?
Weird.
Was he weird?
He's strange.
Still weird.
Strange. And he would get mad because at my house it was like Street Fighter, like the home of the Street Fighter. And I was kicking his ass. Like we were supposed to rap, but he wanted to, oh yeah, you Street Fighter. I was like, yo, you're welcome to the House of Pain, bro. You don't want to do it to yourself.
You brought weed up a minute ago. From being in that time and being in that space, you ever get weed from Branson?
He was a good kid though.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Did you ever get Branson?
Oh yeah, Branson used to come to the studio. See, so when later on, like if we fast forward a couple more years,
do you know what Branson is?
No,
it's
Richard Branson.
It's who the Samson character is named after.
So we when you hear people talk about Branson, Biggie, Nori, Redman, Method Man, Busta Rhymes,
numerous rappers,
they all talk about Branson. Branson's where you used to get your weed.
Yep.
Fucking Branson was like that good shit with that Mr. Nice Guy from Dave Chappelle's character.
Yeah. That was this guy.
That was Mr. Nice Guy
in real life.
In real life.
What was it? That was 151st,
something like that. Yeah.
So you got to give me a Branson story.
So I only met him once.
Did you ever go to the spot?
I went to the spot once, but I didn't go inside. I was in the car.
You ever go in there?
Yeah, man.
You went in there?
We were in the studio.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, Starks was with me. It was me, Starks, and some chick from a Manhattan project. He like, yo, we gonna go get some weed from the spot. This one it was popping.
You got to describe the spot too for people. This is classic hip hop shit.
I mean, to me, it's just a fucking store. You know,
you got to walk in. You got to like, it's like a fucking whole.
So, I'm not walking in there. I got some different principles. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm not going in it. Now, mind you, this is me, Roxbury in New York. Okay. So there's always the Boston and New York has always been like oil and water.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in that fucking drug war, and you know what I mean. Like I used to hear that shit. It was like gunshots were like my
Boston, Roxbury in the '80s.
My fucking crazy. Orchestra growing up. You know what I'm saying? And so there was always this Boston, New York thing for me. I still carry it a little to this day, but you know, like I used to be staying out in Brooklyn with him, so I was there all the time. Like I seen Big, blah blah blah, all that, blah blah blah. And so my brother goes in the store, gets a couple bags of weed,
triangle bags, right?
We come out,
guest bags.
Yeah.
We come out, hop in the whip. I'm going to the studio. I got my backpack with me.
Yeah,
I got the orange backpack.
Yep.
East pack.
Mm-hmm.
We in the car. We pull off. We get a half a block from Branson, right? Spotlight.
Damn.
Whip, whip. Like, yo. He's like, yo, tuck that shit. I'm like, a bag of weed? I ain't tucking this shit nowhere. He like, I'm telling you. Police come. Get out of the car. I get out the car. I slide it down my sock. You know what I mean? I got ankle socks on at the time. I slide it down, get it down to my soul. Between, you know what I mean? Hop out the whip. They're like, you know, DTs everywhere. The fucking helicopters. They're like,
helicopter for a fucking dime bag. It's crazy.
Whoa. They're like hands on the car. So it's out of state plates, right? This is Massachusetts plates. Hands on the car. We put our hands on the car. They're like, yo, what are y'all doing out here? I'm like, man, I'm just going to the studio, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, studio where? I'm like, 678 Broadway.
78.
I know the address. Like, the Lighting Plus is right there. They're like, yeah, all right. What are you doing out here? He's like, with my brother, taking my brother to the studio. And he's like, let me guess, 2 dudes from Boston and she's from New York, and y'all are going to the studio. At that moment, because I'm out now. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even. So I'm like, oh shit. Like, motherfuckers used to come up here to cop, like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, where you live? She's like, da-da-da projects. They're like, search the car. Trunk pops, dude grabs my backpack. I say, yo, can you just be careful with that? Please? Okay. This is the police. No, fuck the police. Right? He's like, yeah, all right. Boom, slam my shit. Now, it's just notebooks. But he slammed my shit on the car. Now, so you know me, I'm like, right? He opens my bag. This is all fucking going to Branson. Just wanted to see what kind of weed they had. Opens my bag, pulls the notebooks out. Paper. I'm chasing papers down the street. They're like, freeze. I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is my life right here. And the dude's like, you almost fucking died over a piece of paper. I said, I told you those are my rhymes, man. Like, I told you that I asked you to be careful with this backpack.
That's hip hop, right?
And he was like, he just looked at me and he paused for a second and he was like, he just did this with his flashlight. Tick, 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 tick. Boop.
Gone.
He's like, good luck in the studio. I was like,
fuck you too.
I wanted to be like, fuck you, but I saw in his face, he was like,
he's serious.
these ain't the guys. Like,
Right.
this motherfucker almost got, I got 3 guns on him and he's chasing papers down the street. Like, he whipped my shit out and it was literally like it was in a strip club. I'm like, all because we wanted to get some fucking weed from there.
But being a weed smoker in the '90s and being a hip hop fan, like you wanted like Branson.
You wanted to know what Branson was.
Because at first,
no, because even I didn't know, and I was hearing it in songs. I'm at the studio, like, who the fuck is that? Then he would come to the studio because when Redman was at the cutting room, and
Redman's obviously
all these dudes,
Branson,
he would pull up when Buster was there. He would pull up.
Did he look like Mr. Nice Guy?
Nah, he was like I don't really remember his face,
there was never any pictures of him. Or it was like
I don't really remember his face. I just feel like he had dreads though.
Because weed at the time is super illegal. Like,
it is.
It's not
so I used to get weed from a dude that used to have a fake car service that he would say was flower delivery, right? And you'd call and be like, yes, can I get a delivery of flowers? And he'd be like, I'll be there in 7 minutes. And then he'd pull up.
The roses.
Yeah, you know, and he'd have the little thing right here. You'd sit in the car real quick. But yeah, weed back then, you're going to jail. You got a blunt? Like, let's go down to Central Bookings, buddy.
I got arrested for a nickel bag twice.
Yeah, they were not
separate occasions.
They were not playing that shit.
2 separate occasions. I was in probation for 2 years for one of those.
Yeah, man.
Wild
New York does not play, bro.
Wow, shit. That was out here. So you start your Big Boogie Down Productions. You're obviously moving through the ranks.
Yep.
I mean, you've been involved with some classic shit.
Yep.
Can you give us some examples of some of the classic shit you've been involved in?
So, yeah, I was like, through DJing, became producing. I started producing some stuff for Harmony. And that made me know, like, man, I got a knack for, like, the studio, not just DJing, but the studio. I kind of know what's going on already. And I did this, so I was working with, here's a dope story, man. So do you know about Studio 1212? You know?
No.
Vaguely.
Okay, so Studio 1212 is a famous hip-hop studio out in Queens, New York. It's run by a guy named Paul C. This is the guy who taught Large Professor and others how to make beats, Biz Markie, all these guys.
That's pretty crazy.
And he produced Ultra Mag. Among other things, he was gonna produce Rakim's album, and he passed away, and Large Professor produced it. That's the Let the Rhythm Hit Him. So he ran a studio. I don't know if it was his studio or not, but he was the man there. It was called Studio 1212. And just after he passed away, the guy that I was working with for BDP named Shah, we did our first demos there. And that got me knowing that I could be engineering too. So then we did the same group. We did a session at another studio in Brooklyn. And I said to the dude, because you're talking about 19-year-old Nasty from Bed-Stuy, like, yo, son, give me a job. And they're like, there's no job, but there's internship. And I was like, I didn't know anything about it, so I didn't know it was slavery, you know what I mean? But I was like, all right, yeah, okay, what do I got to do? So then they had me cleaning the bathroom, and they had a brownstone with a yard, so they had me mowing the lawn and shit. Huh. So after 2 weeks, I was like, yo, look, you could pay me to do that. I want to be around the studio, so you could pay me, but I can't do that. I don't have time. So they were like, so you're quitting? And I was like, nah, I got an idea for you. I'll bring you clients. You show me how to use the equipment.
Was it Fiber?
Huh? Fiber.
Yeah.
Fiber in Brooklyn. And I brought him clients. Incidentally, the first client was my boy DJ Spinner, who produced for De La Soul and all these guys. I brought him clients, and they made a couple racks in the first week or two. They were like, just be here. We'll show you how to use this shit. And that led me to my first gig, which was Lords of Brooklyn, which was signed to Rick Rubin. And there was my man's name, Mark Pearson, worked for MC Search, gave me my first shot as an engineer. And my whole thing was that I'm a hip-hop engineer. I'm tired of telling this rock and roll fucking jerk off, why does my drum sound like that? Why? Like, and we're Brooklyn and Boston, so we're ready to knock you out too. Like, fix the fucking record. So I started being like, let me get on it. And that quickly, because at that time, there's only a few what we call hip-hop engineers. Yeah, I know how to mic up a drum set. I know how to do all that shit. I don't do it. I haven't done it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't learn engineering that way. I learned it learning to record vocals, how to program beats. Back then we had like little rinky-dink computer setups, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Maybe SP1200. I just started learning that shit. But because I was a hip-hop mentality and already had credits with, oh, he's on stage with KRS and these guys, I quickly started making those moves in them circles. So by like 95, I'd already produced a group called Hard to Obtain. They had a little hit called Ghetto Diamond and another hit called L.I. Grooves. It's like underground New York shits, but they're on major labels.
I remember their cassette. It was like a bluish cover.
Yeah, Ism and Blues.
Yeah.
Ism and Blues.
Yeah,
I produced on that, and that's SD50. They gave me my first, like, yo, we're going to take these
And
beats.
that was through Dante Ross, who was also involved in KMD, right?
Yep. He signed. He was the A&R for Elektra, and so he was involved in KMD, Leaders of the New School, and Brand Nubian.
Got it, yeah.
And he had already worked with, like, he started out road managing for Eric B. and Rakim. And then he was working at Tommy Boy. He's on the famous... Yeah, on the De La. Dante is a scrub. They're talking about Dante Ross.
Okay.
And so...
But of the studio, you become the head engineer. It's like 1995, right?
Yep,
so you're the youngest head engineer in a major studio, right?
Yep, and hip-hop.
Yeah.
So I'm the youngest, but I'm hip hop. So I go from being like a assistant. I was the worst assistant because I was already engineering in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I get to Manhattan and I'm like, no, I can already engineer. And they're like, no, you can't be an assistant. But I was the worst assistant, but everybody liked me and they knew that I knew how to do it. It was just about experience on the board, on the bigger board. So they started throwing me all the hip hop sessions at the cutting room. And I was like, really fitting in because people wanted to come. Hey, yo, make sure I got him next time I come. Like that was turning into that.
Yeah, let's go down some of these names. So, of course, Mobb Deep, Quiet Storm.
Yeah.
You're apparently the guy who put in like the thunder sounds and all that.
Yep.
M-Dot was just in here like, you got to have my boy Nat.
Word. Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so talk about the production how that album was produced. And how you met Mobb Deep, like how it all came together.
So the cutting room started being a place to go for hip hop.
Yeah,
because of me.
Yeah, we everyone's heard of the cutting room.
Right. So Loud Records starts to become a pretty consistent client, and they're always like, "Is Nasty available?" So they start bringing their groups there. So they're telling me like, "Yo, you're gonna assist on a Mobb Deep session."
Okay.
And so it was a funny session because back then an engineer might get a call and he is not the right fit.
Well, it's interesting because engineers are like, what you're actually hearing is the engineer.
That's right.
That's like what we're actually digesting. It's not the rapper. It's not the person who made the beat. It's the person who is actually engineering the record.
Yeah.
You're hearing their
interpretation.
It's like a photographer of your wedding. Like
exactly.
You're seeing your wedding. You're seeing the photographer's vision of your wedding. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what's kind of you're actually the last piece of like the puzzle. That's like this is what it's going to sound like to the masses.
The final thing is going to come through.
I'm going to take your vision. And make it sonically correct.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Which
that's
is
right.
Interesting. That's like in hip hop, it's kind of a new thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So being the
So I'm early in that.
I'm the first.
Yeah, I'm early in that. I'm one of the first.
Dope.
So as an assistant engineer, I'm trash, right?
But you're creating the sounds for these fucking.
And the clients are loving me. The clients are like, he knows what sounds right, and he smokes weed. He's like, where you from? Oh, I live in the sty. What? Oh, okay. You one of us. So Mobb Deep first 2 or 3 sessions, it's just knuckleheads. But the funny thing is, I'm forgetting a piece. So one of my OGs in the game is this guy, Bobby Condors. He's a legendary reggae DJ in New York, right? Hot 97, all this. So when I'm doing a session with him at D&D, a door goes flying open, and Juvenile Hell era Mobb Deep walks in. They don't have a record yet. They just, unbeknownst to me, it's Mobb Deep. You know what I'm trying to say?
Did they have the sickle?
Right? That was on that sticker, right?
Yeah. On the cover.
Was it on the cover?
Yeah, it's on the cover.
Yeah.
Probably on the
So look, they walk in, and there's a bunch of them, but they're all little. So, and my guy's like a G from Brooklyn. He don't give a fuck. So they walk in, it's Mobb Deep, and they go, "We're Mobb Deep." And my boy looks back and goes, "You're in the wrong room." And they go, "Oh, my bad." And they all leave. And a dude that was down with them was doing reggae and stayed. And that's my man to this day, my man Marlon. And through that, right? So that's my intro to them. Yeah. Then I go a couple years later. I'm the engineer at Cutting Room, And they start telling the cutting room, you should let Nasty just engineer. Because this is an era where a studio might call an engineer for a gig, but he ain't the right, he's not the fit. So they brought in this guy that was like talking to them on the mic, but they're standing right here. You know what I mean? Like just totally out of touch with like what it is. So they started wanting me to do it. So they started telling the management, and that was it. I became the Loud Records guy. I recorded, so that was right after.
Was it Purple Tape?
No, that was right after the Hell on Earth.
Okay.
That's when they started using, Mobb Deep started coming to the cutting room.
Okay.
Was that,
so they're known.
Like that album had just came out and they were coming in to work on something.
Did you work on Hell on Earth?
No, that was literally, it just came out.
Murder Music is with the intro.
But I did all the soundtracks. I did Hoodlum. I did Soul in the Hole. What was the other? Was another
Sunset
soundtrack,
Park, right?
Huh? Sunset Park. Yeah.
Sunset Park's a dope soundtrack.
Yeah. That's a really good soundtrack.
Soul in the Hole got that Diesel song, the Wu-Tang Diesel song.
Yeah.
It's dope.
That's a good soundtrack too.
Method Man the soundtrack's alright, but Method Man got a dope verse in that Diesel track.
Yeah.
Really
Diesel joints.
Very often.
Yeah. No, so I was in the middle of all that because I recorded like
but Sunset Park, that was a dope soundtrack.
Yep.
That was
so all those records I recorded. I didn't mix, but I recorded those. And when I say recorded, that means Havoc comes in with the record. We get the MPCs, making the beat, taking 500 hours to make the beat. You know, and who's he asking how it sounds first? Me. I'm the one in there, and like you saying, the engineer. Like, yo, what's up with my kick? Why my kick sound like this? So I'm hearing all of these beats first. So with Quiet Storm, he comes in, he tells me he's gonna make the record. Like, I'm gonna bring the White Lines record, the Grandmaster Flash record. We're gonna make a beat out of it. I bet. Comes in, got the record, starts looping it up, starts making what will become Quiet Storm, right? Keyboard, all that. Now, the funny thing about this is at the time they're 2 gold records back to back.
Right.
So they're having the time of their life. So that he makes that beat and they start partying. Like, and then that beat was supposed to be for Big Noid.
Okay.
We were literally working on a Big Noid. Alchemist was trying to get Big Noid. They were trying to get him a deal in Tommy Boy or something like that.
Only the Strong was
my God.
Right?
And Noid's my man. Like that was a dude I hung out with a lot in that era.
I love Big Noid.
Yeah, man. That's my guy.
Chris Farron.
Yeah. So they start partying and they disappear. The beat isn't even, it's not saved, it's not on the tape, it's literally just on the MPC. Quiet Storm beat. So I look at it. Was just so happened my mentor, engineer Ricky St. Hilaire was there and said, "What you gonna do?" This is Busta Rhymes' engineer. He says, "What you gonna do?" I said, "I don't know what I should do, but I think I need to just record all the elements onto the tape, and if they need to fuck with it, they're gonna have to resample it, like re-put it back into the beat machine." Because Havoc didn't save it at that time. He was like, "I don't save my beats." He might be making a beat. He might be making a beat. The whole crew is like, "Yo, this is crazy. We're gonna go to the store and get beer. We'll be right back." Come back, beat gone. And he was the king of his man kicking the plug out of the beat machine. Like that happened like a bunch of times with classic beats.
After the first time it happened, you'd be like, "All right, enough of that."
Yeah. So he comes in with the White Lines record, makes the beat. They leave though, partying. So I put the beat onto it. Back then it was 2-inch tape, 24 tracks. Put the kick, snare, hi-hat, the whole breakdown. That tape probably sat in the library for like 10 months. And then one day it was a session with Pete. Because he didn't usually record with them as far as when I was working with them. Usually Havoc and the crew were making the beats and maybe making hooks and shit.
Oh, interesting.
He didn't want no noise. He didn't want the crew. He'd have his one homie. At least at this session that we're talking about, and other sessions at the time. So he was like, we probably recorded 2 songs already. I don't remember what the other ones were. He was prolific. Like, get him in the room and he's ready. He's just writing. Like, it was dope. I'd just be sitting in there with his man, just watching TV, smoking weed, hours. Then he'd poke his head out. Yo, go in and record Prodigy. And he was a one taker. So it was like you'd wait 4 hours for a minute of perfection.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, if he had those extra long P verses, sometimes he would punch in, but only because he said the instead of or something. You know what I mean? Not because he was like needed to punch in ever. So we already made 2 songs, and he goes, "Where's that White Lines beat?" I said, "I don't know, somewhere on the tape." He's like, "Put that one up." I said, "Yeah, okay." Put it up. That's back when you have to put the tape. You got to rewind. It's a process, right? Put it up, start looping it. And he starts writing that song, Quiet Storm. So then I go in, we record it. You know, a lot of people was laughing because they're like, yo, my God, you were the first to hear him say, I put my lifetime in between the paper's lines. I'm like, yeah, it was just me and him in the room.
Dope.
Yeah.
But me, 18 hours into our session is like, are you done? I'm ready for my fucking cab, man. Back to Brooklyn. Like, so he does just the verses and what turned into the bootleg version of Quiet Storm. I don't know if you ever heard that version.
Yeah.
That's my rough mix from when we recorded it. So what happened was when they moved Murder Music, the cutting room wasn't equipped with the right equipment.
That's the one that made the mixtapes and shit.
Right.
Like the original, like
people say to me to this day, that's the version they love.
That's the one you hear first.
It's super raw.
It's the one you hear first.
So
Street Life was another song on that album that had like a whole different bootleg version. That
No, I mixed a bunch of joints on the bootleg version. Like, I bet if I went and listened to it, I have it somewhere. I bet if I listened to it, I'd be like, oh yeah, I did this one. Because I remember being mad that the bootleg came out because it meant my mixes weren't going to make it. I didn't think Quiet Storm was going to make it. So then they were like, yo, can you come in and mix? They had moved the whole project to a bigger studio than the cutting room at the time. And I remember telling the guy at the cutting room, if you don't get the SSL or the Neve board in here, you're going to lose like a legendary Mobb Deep project, which turned into music. They didn't know it was Murder Music at the time, of course, but
that's what it ended up being.
It moved to another studio. So then they called me like a couple months into finishing it. Yo, you remember that Quiet Storm, that White Lines joint?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Like, can you mix it? Yes, I can. And the dude at the studio was cool. I worked there, but he let me freelance at other studios if the client wanted me at another thing. Didn't stop the dough, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't stop me from progressing. So I get there and they're like, I mixed like 4 records in that session. Not session, but like that group of sessions. You know, it was probably like 2 weeks of time. So I get in there and they're playing me the record. And I'm like, right. Oh, y'all call it Quiet Storm now? Okay. So look, what we're going to do, and there's the other engineers doing the whole album. I said, yo, look.
So, but why'd they bring you in for that one song?
Because he mixed it and they kept playing him that reference mix that we just spoke of. They were like, no. Like, what the fuck?
He couldn't get the
like, they couldn't believe it either. Like,
of it. Yeah.
Like, Knucklehead Nasty, we got to go get him? Like, yeah. So they call me, I come in, boom. So I hear it, and I'm like, all right. Now, I know they're already mixing the album, so they already kind of have the sound as far as all the analog gear. Yeah. It's already kind of tuned in because they're already mixing the whole album. They're playing me songs from the album. I'm like, oh, my God, it's a G-Rap joint, all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because at the same time, I'm in the game, but I love this shit.
Yeah,
so it's like to hear a new whatever. I'm like, oh, you know. So they bring the record up. I'm like, they call it Quiet Storm now. All right, check this out. We're gonna turn his voice into like a telephone voice. We're gonna take the music out. I'm gonna put this. We're gonna find a storm. We're gonna put this rain. And the other engineers looking at me like, no, we're not. What? No, we're not doing any of that. And I'm like, no, that's what we're doing actually. And if they don't like it, they don't like it, bro. Like, it's nothing to like switch it back. Take 10 minutes to switch it back. So
the only reason they even have this beat is because you saved it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna at least try it,
right? Right. Now, meanwhile, he's like, I'm mixing the whole album. Like, we're doing what I say. And I said, look, this is what we're doing. And meanwhile, their manager and their labels over my neck, like, this is their single. You like this. You need to do what you do here. I'm like, I got this. So I'm like fading the music in, all that. Like when you hear the bass line creep in and then the snare hits, that's all me. And I'm talking about Mobb is out doing Mobb Deep shit. Like, they're not even there. So I do all that. The management is like, wow. Like, they're like this. Wow.
Well, the beginning of that song is it's pure 90s fucking hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
And that's like what I was doing for people's records. Because I wasn't the only record I did that for, but that's a legendary one.
Oh,
yeah. I mean? Like that, people say, you did the intro? Like, that's like,
the intro to Quiet
oh my
Storm,
God.
It's just like, it's
I can
crazy.
just tell you how that intro is right now. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I can hear it. Like,
yeah. So, the first time it's like ready to play for them, they come in and they're like, what are you working on? I just hit play. And that comes on. Now, mind you, it never started like that ever in history before I did that. It started with the drums and him talking. Like, the original version is him talking over the drums and then the bass line comes in, which is me on the mix too. So I'm looking at the other engineer like, I know when this hits, they're gonna be like, this is the best thing that ever happened. So when they start realizing what it is, like, because they know what he said, and they start hearing the bass line creep up, and they're looking at me like, because they know he didn't do it. The other engineer, they know it. They're like, no way. And then that snare, and we're in the $1 million studio. The sound system is just unbelievable. Like we used to, say, like the snare is like a gunshot. Like it's so loud, but you get to really hear how this record is gonna sound in the club and in the stadium, whatever. We didn't even get past like 8 bars. Bring it back. They're all going crazy, like, and that manager's like pointing at me like, yes, this is what. Now we get it. Why did we get this guy? Because they're looking at like, why we got to pay another engineer? Like, so that's. I'm
trying to think if like that or like fucking the infamous like which like what, you know what I'm saying, that intro with the stove top.
Oh yeah.
Like what's more like
you're right.
But it's a great place to be.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? It's a great place to be. Like that doom like that and that when you learn that that's a stovetop.
Yeah, right.
Painting, shit, yeah.
Talking about painting a picture.
It goes completely different direction where you're like, I get it now. Like,
yeah, and the funny thing is, skits and that kind of shit in general before the digital era was a fucking hassle for engineers. Because I did all the skits on Big Pun's album.
Okay.
Capital Punishment. I did all those skits. Wow. And we're talking about Pun is the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life in person. Like, he wouldn't fit through that door for real. Like, he would be literally like, doom, doom, doom. And he would probably do that, too, for a joke, because he's like, I'm so big, so fat. Like, so. But him describing Pack in the Back of the Act, I'm like, we're going to what? So when you hear that, Pack in the Back of the Act, all the sound effects is me on the MPC I got the bus sound effect, I got the gunshot, I got the car pulling up. So we're doing it live, as if almost like radio back in the days. Those skits are live. Me doing the sound effects and them acting out the whatever it was. So, but that for skits back then, because you couldn't just move it around and do whatever like you do on Pro Tools now, like it was a hassle. Like we spent with Pun, we did skits. We did like 5 skits. It took us a whole day, like 24 hours. Yeah, in the studio. And I'm talking about I never seen that much food. Fact.
Really?
Bro. Yeah. Pun,
because he went from being like
brawling,
jacked, right?
Yeah, yep.
But by the time you saw him, he was fat.
He's huge.
Yeah, just
one of the biggest human being I've ever seen.
Was he a nice guy?
I wouldn't say he was a nice guy. I wouldn't say he was a bad guy though. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like he
just serious.
Yeah, he was a Bronx cat that like we had fun. Put it like that. You know what I mean? And I helped him out in a pinch. Like it was Pun, if you don't plan these skits in tomorrow, then I'm making the album. It was one of those.
So but it was done all in one day then.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We literally did. I think it's probably like 6 or 7 skits. I think we did 6 of them in that one session.
And he's just coming up with these on the fly.
He had them. No, he had them all
planned out. Oh,
he had them all. All that jumping on the. He has the one skit where he's having sex with 2 girls.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna ask about this. How weird is it to like record a sex skit?
It's actually hilarious because
he had the one too.
Yeah, well, and I work with Cameron a lot, who like would call girls and like do phone sex for skits.
Well, the first one with that was Dr. Dre. He's back with this big dick fucking somebody. Remember that from the Chronic, right?
Yeah.
Where's Dre at?
Yeah. So, like Pun was like. He had all the skits ready, so he was telling me them, and I'd be like, "Oh God!" So I was like, "Oh, so we need like a bed squeaking, like somebody fucking on it?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Well, we gotta pull out couch bed right here in the studio." So he's like, "Pull the couch out." I pull it out, and he goes, "Nasty, I can't like. You want me to jump on that or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll record it." He's like, "I'll destroy the whole bed. I'll destroy." And you gotta say, Pun's like. Got the weirdest voice when he's not rapping because he's so big.
Yeah.
Like, rah, rah. He's like, rah, I'll break that fucking bed. Like, rah, rah. I'm like, he's like Jabba the Hutt for real.
Man, now I'm going to go try to find old video footage of Pun.
Yo, when he talk, it's not like his rap voice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like his rap voice is like.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so he was like, fun. We had fun doing it. But like, 1 minute they were all high-fiving me for helping them, and then a week later, whatever, who are you again?
Oh, really?
Kind of.
Everybody's just doing so many.
Yeah.
So high.
Yeah.
These sessions.
Yeah, definitely that. You know, like, and Pun had that narcolepsy, so you could be in.
I didn't know he had that.
So you could be at like the board, talking to him about what we're working on. Like, yo, how's the vocal sound to you? And he'd be talking to you back, like, oh, I think you should raise it up. But sometimes I'd be like, yeah, how's that sound?
Nothing.
Look back, he's asleep. And then he would wake up out of it answering your question. Like, no, I think it's still too low.
What?
Yeah, it was wild, bro. Pun was he was a one, for real. He was a one. And there's a funny story that I tell. So we had to do this thing with my man Domingo, the producer.
Yeah, I know Domingo.
Yeah, Domingo. So he did the Dream Shatterer joint.
Yeah, I love that track.
So I don't know why, but they had to change. I know why they had to change the beat, but I don't know why they had Pun there while they changed the beat. So he came to the studio. It was a big thing for him to come to the studio. You know, like to get him to come out of the Bronx was a lot. So he gets there, and it was a day that the studio air conditioning is broke.
Oh no,
it's broken. So he's like, "Where's the lounge?" I'm like, "Right there." He goes in the lounge, and there's no. It's like the heater's on. So I'm in the studio with Domingo, and I hear someone yelling my name like this: "Nastee, Nastee." I come out, and Pun has no shirt on, and he's sitting on the couch. He's like this. He's got the biggest fucking hands you ever seen. This motherfucker had like a boulder for a muscle of his shoulder, like this. He's a big hairball. He's like the size of this whole couch. He's like, "Nastee, why the fuck am I here?" Now, I don't know what he's talking about, so I go, "On Earth?" And he's like, "No!" At this fucking session. And I'm like, I don't know why you're here, honestly. So he starts screaming for Domingo. Domingo comes out. He's like, "Come on, Poppy, you got to be here for the process." You know, it's like giving him like a reason why he should, because he actually probably
didn't need to be there.
Didn't need to be there. Like, maybe it was to like, is this on with your lyrics? Because they were changing a beat. They changed A Dream Shadow was a different beat. It actually came out. The beat they didn't use came out afterwards. But like, I have a bunch of recordings of their songs on different beats.
Yeah.
Like from that album. Like the Posse cut was on a different beat.
And they're just taking the vocals and just throwing it on another beat back then.
Like Pun was like known to like, once he got it right, he's not doing it again. You know, and my man,
the way you're describing him, it's like this mythological beast.
Kinda, bro.
Like comes out once in a full moon.
He was different, man. He was different.
You always hear that he just had guns.
Yeah,
guns,
for sure. No,
guns.
other engineers used to run out of their sessions. Like I used to have engineers that were like not of the culture that used to talk to me and be like, "Oh, you work with Pun? Oh my God, he had a gun." And then I heard stories about he had a fake gun, and he'd say to his man like, "Yo, I heard you nice with shooting." "Yeah, I'm nice with shooting." "Yeah, here's like, yo, shoot this cherry off my head." Like, and then like the fake gun.
Yeah.
And then the cherry, move his head so the cherry fall off. Like, just knucklehead shit. But like in the hood, that's hilarious. In the studio, they said, but one producer was like, "Just close this shit up," and just walked out. Like,
right.
Because he's like, I guess it was an apple first, then a cherry, and then like,
oh no.
She's also like a gigantic human,
right?
Too.
So huge, would be intimidated.
If like,
huge, bro.
Like big guys that can go left at any time, like and you're in a small confined space.
Bro,
you're like, it's
that's a bad
like
idea.
his hands on me, and
no, and this dude's hands was like fucking lion, like God.
And they run with the fucking Terror Squad,
right?
Yeah, and they used to tell me, "We're not rappers."
Well,
Nastee, we're not rappers.
Their name,
we're gangsters.
Terror Squad.
So they used to tell me, yeah, exactly, exactly.
They're not hiding.
No, exactly,
like,
man.
what the fuck is going on here? Like,
yo,
it's
for
like,
real.
We're advertising.
No,
we're gonna fucking
that pack in the
up.
that pack in the back of the act and all that. That skit came from they had a fight in the tunnel the night before, and they were explaining that fight. And Cuban was telling me, he was like, "Yo, I had to jump over the balcony. I kicked this motherfucker right in the forehead with the Timberland." And I was like, "Damn!" And they were like laughing about it, like this huge fight at the tunnel. And I'm like, "Bro, that sounds crazy." They're like, "We're gonna make a skit." Pun's like, "We're making a skit out of that."
So
that's how that happened.
We
all these Germans. That's what he said. All these Germans
that we did was me and this other dude. We had this clothing line thing we were gonna do, and it was like hip hop, like lyrics as like pictures. It's like a money green leather sofa. It's like who's the best MC? Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. It was like a fucking like a ballad and shit. But one of them was packing the back of an Act.
Yeah.
And it was like an Acura with like an arm coming out of it. Like a fucking, I'm sort of looking for the picture.
Word.
I'm gonna find it before y'all.
Hell yeah.
But it's like to hear you sitting here right now going the full circle moment again. Like one of those things.
Yep. No, I created those skits. Like if this was nowadays, I would have been a co-producer on that album.
So of everything you've done, what's like, as that little kid who's watching Wild Style, who's fucking like this is what I'm gonna do, Star Wars, this is what I'm gonna do. What's like your proudest, most, not even like money and none of like what's like the fucking most like you're like, oh, I did that.
I don't know. I would say like I would say like I kind of have to be like weird about it and say like it's all that, like everything, because to be a part of it was the beginning. Like I used to say, man, I hope I make my mark in hip hop before it's over. That's what I used to say when I was a little kid. Oh, I hope I make my mark. Then I'm starting to work with KRS-One. I'm probably gonna make my mark. You know what I mean? And then I didn't know what over meant. Like, and now I look back, I'm like, right, when the music business is over, right, you did make your mark. So it's almost like I can't single it out because I don't want to sound gas or anything, but it's like too many great moments because not all of them was huge sellers. Like I worked on Dead Prez's album. It's probably one of the most amazing experiences.
Which album?
Let's Get Free.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was like a good half a year of every couple of days working with Dead Prez.
You worked with 50 Cent before How to Rob came out,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So you were in the studio. He was in the studio with you.
Yep. He So it's funny with 50, right? So I was working with Royal Flush.
Yeah.
And we were at the cutting room, and we had been working on his album. So in the studio, because you're always dealing with knuckleheads, the engineer's chair is the only thing that don't sit in the chair. So I'd have to get gully with certain cats because they'd get in the chair and they want to argue with me about it, right? So this is just giving you like the engineers like, oh, fuck, can you get out the chair, bro? Like you guys are here chilling, working, but I'm at actual work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I used to have to end up saying. So I come in and 50's in the chair. And Flush is there waiting to work. And I walk in and there's no 50 nothing. No one knows nothing about this.
He's still that boo-boo shit.
He's still boo-boo.
Yeah.
So Flush goes, what's up, man? This is my guy right here. Meaning me. And I walk in. I'm like, what up? I was like, is this your man? He's like, yeah. I was like, you get out my chair, man. And Phil looked at me like, what? And I was like, I'm saying, man, that's the one seat that's reserved. That's me. He looks at Flush like, then he looks at me with a smile like, for real? I said, come on, man, really? We really going back and forth with this? He's like, stands up, like this close to my face, like, word? And I'm like, and looks at Flush and goes, just like Dirty. He goes, I like this guy. I like this guy. And I'm like, thank you. And I go to sit in the seat. So he's like, yo, I'll see you later. He leaves. I say to Flush, do he rap? He goes, why? I said, because he got a glow. He said, he rap, but he's a star in the hood. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm seeing there. Because he ain't afraid of nothing. He was like, nope. He's like, that's my guy, man. He is a good rapper, though, by the way. So then, fast forward, I don't know, month, Trackmasters is signed him, 50, and is putting him in the studio.
About it.
Yeah, like, I recorded Corner Bodega, a bunch of stuff that was on Power of a Dollar and a couple of joints that was on, ended up on Guess Who's Back.
Well, In Too Deep, wasn't like, he had a couple things on the In Too Deep soundtrack.
Yeah, that was the How to Rob.
Yeah, How to Rob.
So I'm literally meeting him. He just had recorded that.
And the song About It too. That was on the In Too Deep soundtrack, I believe.
Yeah, that could be.
I believe
that could be. Yeah,
it was early. That was early.
Yeah. That's when, and that's what I always tell people. Like that's when before he got shot, his voice was way smoother. Like I used to tell him like, yo, you're like a gangster Mace. And he'd be like, what? And I'd be like, come on, man, Mace is nice. He's just goofy, like, because he's nice on, you listen to Mace rap. He's fucking nice. So I used to tell him that. And so this is how I used to go. They'd bring his beats in. They'd already be on a 2-inch tape. They'd tell 50, here's your beats for today. Now, sometimes they'd play those beats and he'd be like, that's whack. I'm not rapping to that. And they'd be like, these are your beats. And we'd be in there cooking. This dude was a machine. We'd cook 3 records a day. And we'd laugh, right? Because we'd be at the end, like, mixing it down a little something. And he'd be like, yo, man, that's pretty good, right? I wasn't even inspired to make that shit. Like, I wasn't even feeling that shit, and I made a fucking banger. I was like, and I kept telling him, like, you need to hear my beats. You need to hear my beats. So on the third, like, I think it was the third session, he walked in and I was like, sit down. And he was like, this dude, what? I'm like, just sit down. He sits down and play a beat. He jumps up. This is your fucking beat, isn't it? I said, yep. So he laid a verse to my beat right then and on the spot. I still have it, but it sounds like Mace 50. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
he's writing his lyrics on the spot? Or
on the spot and murdering it.
Never comes in with any...
Brother, he was murdering the shits. He was getting the beat and being like, yo, just loop that one part right there. Yep. And I remember him telling me, I said, yo, how do you do it to a song you do? Like a beat you... He was like, he said, brother, I'm from the fucking hood. This is my way out. Nothing is going to stop me. Not even a whack fucking beat is going to stop me from getting to this where I'm going. And I was like, inspired by that. Like, word, okay.
And you could tell he was going to be a star.
I knew it. I knew it from meeting him with Flush. That if he was a good rapper, he was going to go.
Now,
he had aura.
You said the same thing about Biggie, too.
Yep.
You could just tell.
Vibe.
Now, looking at both of them, how... Like, was there a difference in that? Like, when you're seeing that, like, what are you looking for when you see? Because they're such different fucking people.
With who?
Biggie and 50.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's early, and then being like, that guy's gonna go, and that guy's gonna go, and both of them being like through the fucking stratosphere.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, how do you?
I don't know. It's just there's like this larger than life vibe that happens when they come in. Like one time, Biggie came to my crib when I lived up on Lincoln, and it was him and Busta and Method Man walking in my hallway to my crib. And they looked like fucking superheroes, bro.
The energy of that must be like...
And they had the big puffy. It was winter, so they had the big coats on.
Yeah.
And they're all like 7 feet.
They're all huge. They're all super tall, bro.
Like,
so it's like... But there's something about it, like, you can tell... Like with 50, it was like, oh, his fearlessness it shines through. And then when you hear his songs, you're like, oh, he's dope. Like as an MC, you're just like, oh, he's nice.
Was there ever anyone that you got that feeling from that didn't make it?
That would happen a lot, actually, but like I'd have to go through files to really remember.
Anyone that like really stuck out, like you know how everyone got like the dude at the park that could have fucking went,
yeah,
drugs instead of playing ball. Like
there was this dude that was down with Old Dirty Bastard that I used to love and was nice. I play you his shit, you'd be like, he's nice. Malik, what was his rap name? Malik was
not from Illegal.
No, this other dude. He was from the Brooklyn Zoo. Drunk Dragon. If I played you Drunk Dragon shit, you'd be like, wow, why wasn't this dude on?
Because his name is
Dragon.
Like, when you get older, you realize, the guy named Drunk Dragon probably had it.
Probably had it.
Yeah, he might probably have what it takes.
Gonna be it.
Yeah, but
you had Noriega.
Yep.
Was that when War Report times?
No, it's like first solo album from Nori.
The grimy one.
You engineered a Nori?
Yep, I did. The main one I engineered, like a lot of these albums, I might do something here, do something, record a vocal there, record an ad-lib. But with that album, one of the main things I did was I recorded the song with him and Busta Rhymes.
Okay.
And it was Nasheem Myrick on the beat.
Not from the first album.
From his first solo album.
The first solo album.
Nori's first solo album.
Because he was in Driver's Seat too. Busta Rhymes was in Driver's Seat on the CNN album.
Yeah.
And he was on the what track was he on the solo album, the first one?
It was called The Assignment.
Oh yeah, okay. I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Yep, and it was dope because Nori's a real one because we waited maybe 1,000 hours for Busta Rhymes to come, to the studio. But Nori's a real one because he didn't want to. We had the beat. He had it sounding right. All the mic is on. Like everything's ready. Busta's calling like every hour and a half. Like I'm about 10 minutes away, God. And he's not. He's with hours later. But Nori waited. Like, don't even play the beat, Nash. Like, let's just hang out until this guy gets here. So with him and a couple of homies and me and just smoking weed and just...
Well, Busta Rhymes at the time too is woo-ha Busta Rhymes. Like
He's
big.
He's like Nori is like, I hope he comes. You know what I mean? It's not guaranteed.
You need the jump because Nori at the time is still seeing it. Like it's not.
And Nori's hitting him with the on the phone because
Super Thug has not happened yet.
Right. He's hitting him with the, yo, you really coming, God? Because, I just could go home. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could just meet up another time. Like, no, I'm coming, God. I'm telling you. Uh-huh. So we waited. These dudes literally had their jackets on, going to the door. Studio phone rings. Studio B. Nori's Buster. I can hear him over the phone. He talks loud as shit. Buster's like, yo, God, I'm downstairs. Are you really downstairs? Because you said you were like 10 minutes away like 5 times already. Like, Nori was a real one, bro. He's like, no, stop playing me, God. Like, I'm here. They start taking their jackets off. Because he must have said it in a way that they knew. Because I was like, he might still not be here. Came in probably a little bit after that. I swear we're there 7 hours waiting for him. 7 hours probably. But that's how much Nori was willing to wait.
And what's recording Busta Rhymes like? Because
he's actually kind of easy. Because he's so
really?
Yeah, because he's so intricate, but that it's already here.
He comes in with everything he's gonna rap.
Direction.
Yeah, like in other words, if he has to like use multiple tracks to get all those flows out, he already knows that.
Okay.
Like he'll spit it and be like, "Oh, hold on. Like, I'm gonna need 2 tracks on this one because I'm gonna go back and forth because I'm gonna leave a line out."
Okay.
Which is also like
interesting.
He knew that shit.
You
like,
have to be to.
But he was mostly a.
That's the thing.
He was
These
mostly
people
a
are
run
very
through it.
smart. Did he come in with like was he reading out of a notebook or
No. Most people at the cutting room that I could tell you, it's on the spot.
You're not you're not notebooking.
I used to be the dude that would tell them.
You have everything ready to go.
I used to be the dude telling them like, why y'all don't write and come? Like you spend so much money writing raps.
Yeah.
Where you could do at your crib with the fucking.
Because you hear about Nas showing up to do Illmatic with the note, or he lost the notebook, but he had it all memorized.
Yeah.
He had it all written down.
Well, see, I think a lot of people started that way.
And then they're just like, fuck it, I can't keep up.
When they start realizing, I like it better when I could write it and say it.
It's easy to bring this around. Having notebooks and to carry around stacks.
Yeah.
Right, no, for sure.
Like you lose.
Well,
Bro, I could have probably had almost all of Prodigy's rhymes that he wrote because he wouldn't even keep the notebook.
Yeah, that's sad.
You know what I mean? He would just, I wrote that for that and I laid it down. Like, what do I need the paper for?
But is it a lot of people coming in with they have already have the verses?
More of the people that was trying to make it.
Yeah.
The cats that was like, all right, I got this much money for 5 hours.
They come in with their shit memorized.
Memorized,
like Busta
bro.
Rhymes will just do it on the spot.
Yep. And like, I'll tell you on the assignment, he knocked this shit out in one take.
So
you
like
go back and listen
pros
to that,
are
it's
pros.
amazing.
Like these pros are pros.
Yeah. Pretty much. You know, and it was dope because waiting all day and then Busta just murdered it. Like, get me a pen, man. Give me a pen. Let me get this right now. I'm gonna write this right now. Like, and it what's dope
y'all
is
waiting for?
because Nori waited. The energy when you go listen to the record, it's there. Because Nori was like, "Nah, when I listen to the beat, I don't want to hear the beat 100 times now." Now that we know he
wants it just fresh. So he's just getting hyped.
After like 2 hours of waiting, he was like, "Don't play the beat again, yo."
You did Peter Gunz and Lord Tariq Uptown.
Yep. Deja Vu joint.
Yeah.
Yep. Recorded and mixed.
Oh, so that had to be dope because that's one of the dopest hip-hop tracks.
A funny thing that people don't know about Peter Gunz and Lord Tariq on that joint is that they were on Shaq's label.
Okay.
I knew that.
Twism.
Yeah.
Like I got my check to record and mix that shit. I got that check from Twism.
Okay.
From Shaq.
Was mine.
And so the funny thing is they were telling me about hanging out with Shaq because I was like, doesn't he have a studio in his house? They were like, yeah, he don't let us rock. Like he's our man for sure. We can crash at his crib anytime, but the minute we want to like ball out, he's like, I'm good with that. But he put him right in the studio, and these dudes came in with the champagne, with the limo, with the girls, and knocked that record out in one take.
Really?
Yep. Peter Gunz, he only did it twice because he wanted to hear it. Like, let me just try it one at a time.
So they come in knowing it's they know.
He actually, you could tell they had already formulated that song.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, they already had the beat. I mean, it's just a loop, but they already had the beat. We laid the beat down. And then what happened was, again, what happens is they like me. And then they listen to their tape and they're like, damn, that was the rough mix. Yeah, get him.
Yeah.
So then I mixed, like a couple weeks later, I mixed that record. And I didn't think it was going to be anything because it was such a mixtape record. And then I remember hearing it on the block, like, damn, that's that record. Like, yeah, I mixed that. I didn't think that was anything. I thought it was like a mixtape song. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it blew up so much. And that was my first huge, like, yeah, he did that. That dude Nasty over the cutting room.
You're getting more business after that.
Yeah. No, I mixed a lot of songs that like for like Rockefeller and stuff, but it never came out. Like groups they signed.
Did you ever have Jay-Z in the studio?
I didn't, but he was at the cutting room a couple times, but I didn't.
You had Mos Def in the studio.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
Early Mos. Before his album. He was like
Lotus's Lounge Mos.
Early Mos. De La Soul Mos.
What was his MO?
Weird, but really dope and really talented.
When you say
different,
weird,
He plays a bunch of instruments too.
Yep. I was just telling him a funny story. I was recording the Cellar Dwellers, and they were getting a beat.
Perfect match.
And they were getting a beat. They were getting a beat.
Boardwalk.
They were getting a beat from Large Professor, right? And so Large is playing him this beat, and they picked kind of a weird beat. But Most comes in. Now he's not Most that he's not. We don't know him. He doesn't have an album yet.
Black on Both Sides is not.
No, not even a thought. Maybe in his mind, you know. So he walks in, and he's like, "Large, this your beat?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, yo, I hear a bass line for it. Large like, "Yeah, all right, hold on, let me get a bass sound for you." So Cellar Dwellers is looking at him like, "Motherfucker, what are you doing in our session?" You know, not like hostile, but just like, "Why are you in here?" So he brings up a bass sound. He's like, "Doop doop doop." You like that? Yeah, I bet. Play the beat. Now, I'm thinking he's going to at least be like, doop, doop, you know, some notes. This dude was like, beat, bam, 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 bam. Bird. Bam, 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 bam. And like, I look over at Soul Doors, they're looking like, what is he doing to our fucking beat? So we all like, it was like a movie moment. We all go look at Large, right? And Large Pro is back there like, yeah, Most, I feel where you're coming from. We're talking about an hour of beat, bam, 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 boom, 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 boom. Beat is playing. It's not just like he's trying it out. Like, you know, you're just like, all right, we're just going to have to hear him noodle. No, the beat's playing, loud as shit. Doop, doop, doop. Motherfuckers left. Large left. And so Dawes was like, what track is that on? I was like, right here. How do we record over that? Was hours and like of him noodling on that shit. So Most was like weird in the sense of like, he said he had a bass line.
Yeah.
And he noodled for like an hour and they didn't really even, you know what I mean?
Right.
I was telling him too, he was like, had to do like a freestyle for Sway and I had to record it, right? It's early, like he's starting to bubble a little bit. And he's like, he delivered the rhyme like, like someone's wrong with him. And he's like, yo, what if we send it like that and we put a note with it that says, this, yo, pardon this guy, he has mental problems. I'm like, bro, what?
Like, we're doing a lot for no reason.
Yeah, like, just
taking it the long way, right?
That's how much talent, though, that Most, it was like.
You get to like the New Danger and shit, you're like, this is just some other shit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're on a different wavelength.
Yeah.
Like, it's what a lot of other people are trying to do, but a good job of it. You know
yeah, it was just, and it was a little bit like, you went weird too early.
Yeah, but
if you would have gave us one more black, we probably would have accepted whatever else you did.
Andre tried it too, and he gave us like 5 albums of good shit, and they still don't let Andre do it either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's.
Yeah, with him, it seemed like once he got in. See, what I saw a lot of times, bro, would be like super talented folks, but they not industry. And when they would get into those deals and start realizing what the fuck they signed, because the lawyers is all working together, like that game is so fucking rigged, so not for the artists. Some of them just have to.
Right. Well, fast forward, you decided you're sick of the whole industry in New York.
That's right.
What are some
twice?
What are some specific examples of where you're like, this industry, I'm done?
A big
one.
one.
You left the fucking gold mine.
Yeah. No, people at the time were like, "What the fuck? Like, you want to go where? Like, I'm gonna go be a rapper. I think I'm gonna end up in Vermont." They're like, bro, you just mixed like 3 platinum records, like.
Yeah, so how do you end up in? How do you guys end up in Vermont?
So there's this thing.
We got this right here, Afterlife.
Yes.
So like, I'm trying. We got to get to like because it's been like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours.
Word. Yeah, I was thinking like, damn,
it's been a long time. Which is
good shit.
Which is fine because it's a great conversation. But I do want to get to like
we hit the story vault right here.
What your your new project is about and everything like that, and like how you guys got to Vermont and that's going on now. You know,
how you ended up doing a Terminology platinum single.
Yeah. So So what happened was there's these things called mushrooms.
Damn.
Yeah.
Right? I think you heard of them.
Yeah.
So I'm at the top of the like rap game as an engineer. I got a nice little crib in Queens. He want to record. I got the studio. Like mind you, everything I just told you, he's right there. Like he's either at the studio waiting for me or at the crib or whatever. Like most of this shit that's going on, I'm talking about.
Are you picking up like features here and there during this whole time?
Nah, it wasn't that.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah, it wasn't that environment.
It wasn't like that. Plus, I'm still You know what I mean?
I get it.
And Boston's rep, like I would play his demos for people, and they'd be like, "Oh, this kid's pretty dope. Where you from?" I'd be like, "Boston," and they'd be like, "Oh, all right, I'll holla."
Yeah,
it was like that. Like Boston didn't have this rep of being like a hip hop place. It had a rep of being a gangster place. Like every rapper I would meet, when they were like, "Oh, you're from Boston? They don't play out there, man. We talk about shades of that motherfucker." Like, it was known for that.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's there the whole time. I'm playing his demos for plenty of people that you would respect, and they're like, "Oh, this is dope."
Now, are you, when he's doing the engineer part and like all like the crews and the hanger-ons are there? You're there as well. Are there people in those crews that end up being people that you're sitting there just like eating fucking chicken wings with this motherfucker, and next thing you know, he turns into like, "Oh shit, that's Split Star. Oh shit, that's..."
Well, a few. When he did the Peter Gunz shit, like for some reason he just decided that it was my ear he wanted to talk off, and we just kind of hit it off. And he's a super cool dude. I mean, he probably don't remember this, but I remember it because he told me about the Shaq thing and all that. He had the Twism chain and all that, and he was just so excited. So to see someone in the industry be that excited, I was like, oh shit. But one of my eye-opening moments and one of my most favorite moments is he was doing a Brand Nubian session, and it was 96 because the WNBA had just came out, and first game was on TV, and we were in the B room.
Yep.
And there was a little lounge right there. I walk in the lounge, watching the game. You know, I'm a sports guy. This guy comes in, he sits down. I'm locked in. The dude goes, "Yo, these girls could kind of ball, huh?" Oh shit, that's Grand Poobah. I just watched the first WNBA game with Grand Poobah. Like, oh shit, now this is Grand Poobah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he's one of those guys.
Yep.
It's like 2000 shit already out.
No, this is 96.
Oh,
this is 97.
Right. So he might
6. Whenever the 96, the WNBA was 96, right?
Slow down and shit.
Probably
after all that, this was his first joint already came, and they was coming back. His brand, like the 2 Brand Nubian joints dropped, and now they coming back.
But he's Grand Poobah.
He's Grand Poobah all day.
Yep,
it's Grand Poobah all day.
And that was incidentally, that's a song for the Money Talk soundtrack. Is what the session was.
Okay,
that's my first mix.
Money Talks was the one with Damon Wayans and Marlon Wayans, right?
No, Money Talks was Charlie Sheen and this guy Chris Tucker.
Oh yeah, yep.
That was my first award. My first gold record was that, mixing that.
Dope.
So that was super dope. And one eye-opening experience was we was just in the crib at St. James, me, him, and Craig G. And shout out to Craig G, man. He's been our brother for a long time.
Hell yeah.
We went and got some chocolate from Bergen and Underhill in Brooklyn. Came back, we just rolled up, sitting there. We listening to Illmatic before it even came out.
Which is dope.
Right?
Yeah, I had the tape.
Fucking Craig G right there, right? Boom, it's playing. Now it's first side is about to end. It's halftime. I know halftime like the back of my hand. You know what I mean? Like other side comes on, click Memory Lane. I'm like, oh my God, like damn.
Yeah.
Just in my mind.
Yeah.
He goes to Craig. I remember how we were sitting. I was sitting here. You were sitting right there. The tape was there. You were sitting here. Craig was sitting here. I was sitting here. And you look at him and you go, yo, why you ain't say nothing, man? Like, you're on a fucking classic. And he looked at him and goes, I didn't know I was on there. At that moment, I was like, fuck the music industry. Like,
right.
I just love hip hop.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be in that right there was just so dirty to me. Like, and so just raunchy. Just as a moment. Like, you have no idea that you're on this classic motherfucking album. People talk about Illmatic to this day. And this is back when, remember, you couldn't use a motherfucker's voice. They was coming.
Right,
you know what I mean?
You.
Didn't matter. Yo, that's my right there. Like, I want my money. Yeah. This guy has no idea he's about to be on one of the greatest albums ever. No fucking idea. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? Yeah. Those two. I mean, there's one more, but there's those two would just like, damn.
Well, you guys are still doing it now, so I mean,
So what happened was, right, I'm doing all that cool shit. I'm living like a rapper, right? I had a car service picking me up, bringing me to the studio, got my homie with me, we're doing whatever we fucking want to do, to the point where now I don't have to do so much at the studio to get my money. I'm the guy, right? So I'm picking and choosing. No, I don't want to work with them. I don't want to work with them. So what happened was, the hip-hop self that I am, I took mushrooms and I started writing something down that would eventually become raps. And I literally learned how to rap by taking mushrooms for the first time. And I was grown. All these guys are taking them 16 years old. I'm like 27, 28, accomplished all the goals I wanted. So my reflection wasn't a kid's reflection.
Yeah.
So when I started writing shit down, I show it to him. I show it to my other friends like, yo, if this was rhymes, if this was bars, would this be crazy? And they were like, bro, if you could make that rhyme and be a flow, like, you a deep thinker. So yeah, that would be crazy. And that's what I did. And that the minute I made a song and played it for someone that could have told me it was trash and I would have accepted it, told me it was amazing, Bobby Condas.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, I didn't know you had that in you. And I was like, me either.
Do you remember the first song?
The 80s. Before you even on it, I'm mumble rapping on some of it. I did it because we didn't have like, oh yeah, just set the mic up. The mic's in the booth. I didn't have to press record and run in to like record myself just because I was trying to experiment and I'm on mushrooms. So I recorded this song. I made a hook and everything and had this crazy ass beat. And I kind of didn't want to finish it. Yeah.
There's a Nas used that one.
Yep. Yeah, use the sample. Yeah. I was so like, I don't know if it sounds good to me, but I don't know if it's good. So I have to play it for people that will keep it real with me. Him and a couple other people. And they were all like, he heard it the first time and was like, can I rhyme on this with you? As soon as it went off. And I was like, yeah, like, oh shit. And that was me fucking up the rhymes. It wasn't even me like I had perfected it. It just, I wanted to hear my voice and the flow and if people connected with what I was saying. So that led me to be like, I can't engineer trash music anymore. Because once I made a couple of bangers and I was like, yo, I'm kind of good at this. Like, I was coming up with hooks. I was singing. I was on my DMX. I was telling you earlier, I was on my DMX. So, and people were really, they weren't gassing me. They were like, yo, man, you're really onto something different. Like what your approach to it. You know what I mean?
When we talk about flow, we're talking about an 8x11 piece of paper filled from top to bottom, and he just as fast as he could.
16 bars. And it was that RZA type flow.
Yeah.
Like that mid 90s RZA where it's just like, niggas in the building, fans in the building, you know, that flow. So I was just, and my idea was I'm going to rap as fast as I can. I'm going to get all these words out because if I just do it as fast as it's possible, I can't go off beat.
Do you remember your first rhyme?
I remember like the first couple of bars and it was all right. It was like, what did I say? Oh, I said, the contents of my table show that I'm able to make a label. I got a stable of MCs who break knees lyrically, feeling me? Some shit like that. I don't remember. And the hook was, this ain't the 80s.
Is you crazy?
Is you crazy? Devils is trying to fade me. That's why I sit back and think about what exactly made me. And motherfuckers was like, hey, yeah. And I was like, I'm a rapper. Remember, I went and got my hair braided. And I was like, yo, I'm a rapper now.
I just like the fact that you took mushrooms and moved to Vermont.
Yep. So what happened was I came back to Boston.
That's so stereotypical though. It's like,
right? Such a
you want to be
so predictable.
It's as crunchy as you can get right there,
bro. So it was like I came back to Boston. I was helping I was that's this guy. I was
with socks on, socks and sandals. So I'm the originator.
During the late '90s, I'm doing all that shit. Whatever. We're recording, but on the other side of it, he's touring with a group based out of Burlington, Vermont called Belizbaha. It was like a funk band that had like a rapper and some singers and a bass player, whatever. So he would be touring with them. Like he'd hit me up like, yo, I'm coming down here tomorrow. I'm all the way up top though. We just did a show in fucking Plattsburgh. So he was going up to Vermont fucking with them. Like he could tell the more intricate version of the story. So, and I used to crack on him like, bro, you're the only black dude up there. Like, come on, man, stop playing. And he was like, yo, you should come up here. You would like it. So I came up to Boston. I left New York 2000. I went up to Boston. I came up here for a while. I was helping my crew Venom They had a couple little minor hits, like that was when ERS was the joint. So I was giving them records. It was cool because later on in life, when I meet like Static Selector and guys that were inspired by that early Boston hip hop, they were like, "Yo, you did that?" Like, yeah, that's my record. Like, oh, you did the beat, like not just the engineering, but because this whole time I'm the ill producer. It's just that engineering was paying the damn bills. Mm-hmm. So once I became an MC, though, I couldn't sit in a bad session anymore. You know, I could do that for money. So then I went up there and I created what I have right here, which is VT Union.
Yeah, so I'm looking. I'm trying to see like how. Oh, yeah. So that's different. Okay, I'm looking. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not seeing you like rapping on here a lot. Though.
Yeah, no. So VT Union was a group I made.
You on here?
Yep. That's something we just dropped.
Yeah,
last summer. Last summer. That's the Afterlife compilation.
You are on one track on this.
Yep. And
you're rapping on this.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was the first track that I made after not rapping for a long ass time.
Are you guys like a group?
We were.
And
we've been thinking about like, should we do that again? You know,
I don't understand why you're not.
Yeah, what was it?
We had
you guys like seem like you're two peas in a pod, just fucking rocking.
It's ridiculous. It's twos.
The name of the group was Static.
Yeah.
That was the name of our group. Yeah. So we were in Vermont as Static.
Yeah.
And we were getting gigs and we were starting to go. And then I made this VT Union crew. He had got locked up, so I had made this VT Union crew for when he came home. It was like, when you come home, there'll be a built-in fan base for you. Then I was at the time working on a hip-hop cartoon, so I moved from Vermont. This is like 2010. I moved from Vermont. This is a reissue of songs we put out then. But VT Union was getting like Sean Price is on there, R.A. the Rugged Man's on there, because they would come to Burlington to do shows. And we just, I got $1,000. You want to go to the studio? Yeah. Where's the studio? 10 minutes away. So we got, I still have a Raekwon verse from that era that I never released. I got a Sean Price verse that I never released to get ready to release these joints now. Because what it is I never liked the industry, love doing cool shit, love being in the moments that I look back and I'm like, wow, that was pretty fucking classic shit. But I needed to do it for myself and for like what we do. So I went to Vermont to do that. I hit a ceiling up there in 2010. I was working on this hip-hop cartoon about my life. It was a reality cartoon of going up to Vermont from the industry. That was the cartoon. And got all the way to VH1 with it. And it's so funny because this is how you know things are meant to be. The week they pulled the plug on it, and I'm like depressed, like I just spent 2 years of my life working on this cartoon. My man Static Selector called me and told me to get over to his house. We're going to mix Joey Badass's Before the Money album. And I had told him 6 or 7 months before that at the time I wasn't even engineering anymore. I told him I'll come out of retirement for those Pro Era guys because those guys are fucking dope. Like I would hear their shit and be like, yo, it sounds like a bunch of dudes in a room that want to smoke weed and rhyme. Like, where are these guys at? You know what I mean? And through that, I got cool with Joey and all that. And they were like cracking on me off the like, what the fuck were you doing in Vermont though? Like, I don't get it. Are you from Vermont? Like, why would you go to Vermont? The reason why and why I went back, we do whatever we want up there, and not in the sense of chaos, in the sense of starting a business from scratch. That's we're creating our own music industry up there. There's no
who was up there first?
He was.
You were up there first.
Yep.
And then you move up there afterwards.
Yep.
And now you've been up there like just since. Like it just that's your home base. That's where you.
Well, so then because what happened was I went back to New York. I did all that shit with Joey. It was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years of just back in New York, and then the pandemic hit.
You were like,
and I was like, New York sucks. This is horrible. I was in my own crib by myself during the quarantine of New York City, where you could look up First Avenue and see all the way to damn near Harlem from my crib on 3rd Street. It was like a movie set, Manhattan. But the people, that's what made me crazy, was the people. Because so many, theories and everyone's crazy and don't come near me and all this weird shit. And the way New York reacted, I knew New York was never going to be the same. And I knew also that the reason why they were panicking is because they weren't New Yorkers. They're transplants. They're people from somewhere else. New Yorkers are way tougher than that. So it led me back up to Vermont to do the Afterlife thing.
So what is this Afterlife project? This is the most recent project?
Yep, that's what we just came out with last summer.
Okay, so what is this?
So it's basically a compilation that I produced. We gave a couple artists that we fuck with shots on it, and then I got like acrobatics on there, terminology on there.
Term.
Yep, and these are all pretty much people I would say like it's just friendship that
Edo G.
Hey man, could I get on this? Can you get on this with me? Yeah, you know.
Yeah, Edo's my guy from
Edo,
childhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Konflik and Edo grew up together in Roxbury. So, and like meeting Elder Sensei on a tour, like it just all started to come together. And we were already formulating the idea of Afterlife. It was really
what's Afterlife?
So it's like one of the founders of VT Union in Vermont was a guy named DJ A-Dog, who was like Funkmaster Flex to Vermont. You know what I mean? Like wherever this guy goes, these people showing up for his DJ skills. So he was my partner in everything we were doing up there. And he passed away in 2013 from leukemia. So Burlington's the type of place to remember people and try to put on for them. So he was being held up.
Why Life LYFE?
That was just a play on words because I was Googling and just trying to, be on point with some of that part of it. And so the Afterlife concept came from being like, what are we going to do for Dog when he's like, now he's gone like 10 years? What are we going to do for our man because we were starting to see like town was kind of not forgetting about him, but maybe moving on, which I get it. You heal, whatever. Yeah. So that brought me to like, you know what? Let's not do it out of New York. Let's do it out of Burlington, this Afterlife thing. We literally thought of it in the quarantine. Like once he was ready to try, like, yo, I'm coming. I fuck all that other that weirdo shit they talking about. I'll be there. Came to New York and we started making what turned into his 2 albums that he put out. Those were like the infant style Afterlife stuff. This was more like, all right, we have the model. And the point of it is also Afterlife being not just for our man that passed away, but for hip hop, because that's what we're living in now. Because now nothing new, right? There's nothing really new, but you can still add on. That's the beauty of hip hop. You can still add on. No one's gonna do nothing new. We have everything. Same with like soul music. Same with reggae. We're not gonna get anything new. We can't get some add on. That's what we look to do. I ain't reinventing the wheel. You know what I'm saying? But these beats are crazy. And MCs really get open off of them. So I'm looking at it like, all right, we're going to keep the culture a certain way for Afterlife. Because I make all types of beats. A trap kid come to me and want a beat. I got those kind of beats. I like music. Yeah. I don't care tempo or whatever. So that's what really led us back up to Vermont and to really do it independently our own way.
What's like, so it's safe to say that your next project is going to be Afterlife again. You guys are going to build.
We got another one in the cut.
Yeah, I was going to. So presently, right now, going forward, what can we expect from you? Like, where are people going to be able to find your music? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are they going to find you guys?
Yeah.
They've been sitting there watching you guys for 2 hours now.
Yeah.
How are they going to find? Like, they know the story now. Where are we going to find your music? How are we going to? How are they locating all that?
The best way is just to go to afterlifemusic.com.
Okay.
Because less and less am I caring what Spotify, like we put our music there because it's easy access for people and we want that, but we're slowly but surely reeling that back. Like with these next couple of releases, I got an album coming out that's got Terminology, CJ Fly, Rex, and Konflik on it. I'm only putting the singles on the streaming platforms. Everything else will be on our own shit.
So it's like we're going back to the original shit. Like you got to find it.
Yep. Come get me. And you might find me on Spotify or whatever, but I'm more just doing grassroots of what's he doing? Well, he's doing shows. I got a really dope promo guy out in Germany from my guy Snow Goons out in Germany. That's like a legendary crew out there. He does the DJ promo for us. So we're just looking at it like bring it back to the original style of just do what you do.
You've already been successful enough that you can kind of do what you want to do. You've already done that, like so kind of give yourself a new challenge even.
Yep.
Like
to even engineer right now, I either got to really love it or it's got to be the craziest bag I've had in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like because I just don't care.
So you're back to that kid.
Yeah, I just want to record my bro and my other homies that is dope and.
You put your time in.
And the thing with Afterlife 2 is also a big part of it is the content. Like, we want to put more people down with it, but they have to fit with where we're coming from with it. We don't curse a lot, not because we on some goody two-shoe shit, but, like, we older, man. Like, we got a lot to say that these kids need to hear. Because one thing we were talking about earlier that I didn't get to say, there's, like, this missing space.
Mentorship.
Right? With the kids, right. That's where we fucked up. My generation, for sure.
You're the second person that's been here in the last week that's talked about that as well.
We left the kids behind because we were so poor that when we got on... We wasn't thinking about what we needed to do. We thought hip hop would be like us, like the same way it was to us. We thought it would be to them, because I didn't look at like oh, Curtis Blow is 30 years old. I don't like him. No, these songs are amazing. AJ and the 8 Billion Stories, all these original Curtis Blow. No, we didn't care about that. We didn't care if Run was our age or LL Cool J was our age. It was cool that he
a thing.
Yeah, it was cool that he was, but it wasn't like.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
So this gap that happened, it happened because we left them kids. And the beauty of it is that we're at a point right now where we're going to be able to correct that error. Because I'm meeting more 15-year-olds that are like getting it and saying to me like, yo, y'all OGs is wild with it. Y'all was dope just for the sake of it. Like, yeah, get it? I don't want to crease my shoe. Yeah. Why? Because that's whack. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. It's not deep, bro. I'm not trying to floss on it or nothing. I don't want my shoe to look whack. That's it. So there's more I talk to younger kids, the more I see them getting it and understanding like, no, lyricism is for, like, it starts with you, man. You got to want to be ill. Yeah. You got to want to take them words and bend them and throw them around and flow them in different ways. And they're starting to, like, in other words, my son who's like 25, his kid
is on it.
Is going to be on it. He ain't here yet.
On it, but
like, you know what I'm saying?
It's a rewash. It's the rewash.
Because guess what? A lot of them younger kids, when they want to hear something meaningful, they turn to our era.
Yeah.
They turn to Jay. They turn to Big E.
It holds up.
They look at Tupac like, wow,
like that Melly Mel verse. You listen like this actually holds up. Like the art of writing actually holds up. Yeah. This far down the line, like, wow, okay, this is still good.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's like rock kids skip like alt rock and grunge. They usually just go to Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and the Beatles or whatever. Yeah. And then this Terminology album.
Yeah. So me and Term, longtime homies. When Watch How It Goes Down was blowing up, we brought him up to Vermont for his first show in Vermont, and that's how I met Static and all of them, and we got cool. Never really worked on music together, just did shows and did stuff like that. Then during the pandemic, I was at his studio and he was like, play me some shit, man. He was like, what are we working on? And I was like, I don't know, let's make beats. And he was like, all right, play some shit. And then the first beat came on and he was like, wait a minute. Let me write something down real quick. And that turned into what ended up being on a different project. Actually, it's kind of funny when I think about it. Ended up being on that project. The Term Acro song was the first song we recorded for, because we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know we were making Time Is Currency. So 6 or 7 songs later, Term was like, yo, this is going to be my 50th project, so I really want it to be special, and I'm going to try and get like this producer, that producer. I was like, all right, dope, that's crazy. Then we were plugging shit in, and it kind of wasn't meshing, because like, not to say that I have my own style, so it can mesh with others, but once Term was kind of like trying to plug it in, he was like, I think you should just do this project with me and just, let's just do that. And I was like, yeah, okay. And we started getting featured. Like, it just, once we made our like mind up of like how we were doing it, he was like, it's no rush, it's my 50th project. So he's like, I got 2 more before I get to 50. So I can work on other shit while you perfect whatever you doing. And that's why it came out, to me, that's why it came out so good, is because we had about 1.5 years of cooking those songs. Him being like, yo, let me redo that verse. Let me redo that hook. Just over time. Yeah. And so we were grinding. And then the perfect timing is this label that put out Paul Wall and his albums, those projects that he did with Paul Wall. So we approached them about helping us put it out because we just felt like it was something special. And it was his 50th project. And it was the 50th year of hip hop. Like, it was all these like perfect lines up. And so the dude was just like, put it in the right place. He knew what he was doing with the placements and the pitching and whatever else. And we worked our ass off and got #1 on iTunes with it. And when I saw the fucking post came up the other day, and we had beat out like J. Cole and A Boogie with the Hoodie, like all the top people had put out. But we just went so hard with like grinding it, and those pre-sales mean a lot to the charts. It's kind of how that works.
It's dope, man. So talking about pre-sales, so you want to look at this camera over here.
Yes.
All right. Going to tell people where you can find all this stuff at afterlife.com. Go through it again.
Yep.
What they can find, where they can find it, Instagram, Twitters, all that shit.
Yep.
Because people need to know where to find all this stuff.
For sure.
Crazy stories, crazy talent.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate that. So look in here.
Look right there, man.
All right. Yo, this is your boy Nasty Loves You. Afterlife Music is the gang. And you can find it all at afterlifemusic.com. And Afterlife is AFTERLYFE. And then you can find me at Nasty Loves You across all platforms. Yeah, I'm not too into that shit no more, man. I think that shit's played out. But you can find me. If you Google Nasty Loves You, you will find me and you will find my stories.
How about yourself?
Konflik @_Konflik.
You think I ain't a social media guy? This guy is. It's so played out to me, like, you know.
Yeah, it's part of the game what we're doing here. So it's the thing. We're trying to change it a little bit too, but you know.
Yeah, no, I love what you guys are doing.
Nah, it's all good. It's just
it's part of it.
It's part of it, man. It's like we're trying to be the megaphone for like. There's a lot of people that don't know your guys' stories.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? They've heard of the song.
Sure. No, that's why I was excited to do it. Like, I kept telling them, like, no, we're going to figure this out, bro.
Because, like...
I want people to hear this shit.
It's like Drink Champs does it a certain way, and, like, All the Smoke for the basketball does it, but, like, there's something cool about, like, hearing the stories of all these things that we've grown up with. Yeah. And it being so accessible. It kind of hoping to bridge the gap with the young kid on here, too, like, trying to bridge the gap of that, trying to be like, yo, these are the stories of this shit, which is actually what y'all are sampling now to make the record you're using. Like, this is where it came from.
Yeah.
This is so-and-so's man who knows... You know what I'm saying? It all connects. So we're trying to, like, you know, hip hop it right back together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Man, what do you want to tell these guys right there?
Like and subscribe.
Marty forever. Sense lives. Fuck Kurt Schilling. Peace.